Hey, Patriots fans, if you want to see Toyota's best offers, including those not seen on TV, go to buyatoyota.com. It's Toyota's official website for deals from the official vehicle of the New England Patriots. Toyota, let's go places. I got nothing today.
Some of the content of Patriots Unfiltered may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
The world's original podcast.
Welcome to Patriots Unfiltered.
Travis in West Virginia, just the three Bulls today. You got that right?
That's right. They're either Shanahan or McVay kind of guy. And that's really the same tree with some variances as to how they do things,
Tight
obviously.
pants, all tight pants.
Right.
Paul, all of a sudden, where's this sweatshirt been for the last 5 years I've been here? I've never seen him in it.
Is there a chance that I haven't worn this sweatshirt in 5 years?
I would have probably known. I would have made a mental
You
note,
have your
Paul.
own database for Paul?
If you could have Bill Belichick be like, here's what just happened on that play, and like, just
Right, and
unload it on you.
everybody will lose their minds. Belichick just said the word foot and ball in the same sentence.
100%.
Oh my God, mind blown.
Oh, 100%. 2003 Sound Odyssey, super sequel.
Yeah, the super sequel.
And that's been dropped. From what I understand, I think Bill Belichick is mentioned in it.
Nope.
No?
Nothing.
No Bill
we
Belichick.
We
Okay.
do it kind of like Madden does. We're like, we just call him any coach.
Okay.
I was one of the
it.
people that Mike interviewed, so you know that Bill was involved.
Oh.
You know Bill
Paul,
got in it.
Keeper of the Flame, Paul Perillo.
This is Patriots Unfiltered.
Presented by Toyota's official website for deals, buyatoyota.com.
All right, welcome to Patriots Unfiltered. It is Thursday here at Gillette Stadium, and the search for staff continues, but I think we're 66% of the way there and probably 100% of the way there if all the reports are accurate in terms of the coordinators.
Oh,
so
we have reports?
No, well, we've got DeMarcus Covington.
Yes.
Pretty much confirmed. We got Jerry Springer.
Yep.
Confirmed for the...
Jeremy.
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 And
Jeremy's.
Jerry is
We're gonna-
a
the
variation
first
of
mix-up
Jeremy.
many.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah. So you are the special teams coordinator. Isn't that how Jerry Springer does it? When he
Correct.
does
That's
Was that
Maury
Maury or-
Povich.
Oh, that's Maury Povich.
You're the father.
Oh.
You gotta
Same
do
guy,
the-
different font.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jerry was just fights.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And Jeremy Springer, special teams coordinator. And it looks like Nick Caley, it seems that, like, everybody's saying it. Like, so it must be out there that, but it's not confirmed.
No.
Not official. But it looks like Nick Caley, former tight ends coach here, current tight ends coach with the Rams.
Yeah, and some speculation too, just with how Luke Getsy might fit into this because he worked with Caley back in college. So there's maybe I think Mark Daniels was speculating that maybe it would make sense to have a passing game coordinator. Imagine that. That would be pretty fun.
I mean,
What's that?
And that's the other thing.
It's the passing game, I guess.
Let's assume you're going to have a new quarterback. Who's the quarterback coach? 'Cause that's a
If one of those guys, I would be interested if one of those guys has worked with quarterbacks
Right.
before. Can Getsy be the quarterback's coach?
Yeah.
Under Caley? I'd be interested in something like that.
I mean, there is a lot of hand wringing, and by the way, it's Deuce, it's Alex, it's Paul, it's me. There's a lot of hand wringing about the youth and inexperience of the staff so far, and it's justified.
Oh.
I mean, I have.
Do we
to,
have a coach above 40 right now?
No,
40 years old?
forget about
No.
the.
Caley
Caley's
would
41,
He
but
would
yeah.
be.
Yeah.
So barely.
Yeah. I mean, forget about the age, which, is a factor only because of the experience. None of these guys have done what they are going to do
Yeah. I mean,
for the Patriots.
Right.
No.
Right? And you've got potentially a rookie quarterback. It could be an issue. It could be an issue. Or it could be great, but
Freddie calling off the 24 season already.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. But it's just something to think about, like the lack of
it is.
experience
You're
that
right.
we're going into the season with. And
Yeah.
so I think it would behoove them to hire a couple advisors, guys that have been in the league for a while, seen it all, just to, be a shoulder to lean on.
That's why I like Mike's theory on Getsy, just because he at least has done it. And I don't know how good he is at it. I know it didn't work great in Chicago, but at least he has some experience running an offense, calling plays, working with the quarterback. If he's part of the staff, I think I'd feel a little better about
especially that. A lot of people, with the theory, the
Oh,
conspiracy
Justin
theory
Fields
of
is coming?
getting Justin Fields.
Oh.
But
I'd be interested.
But
in
they
that.
didn't like him in Chicago, right? Would
Getsy?
Would he be a good Getsy or a bad Getsy?
Yeah, they didn't. Well, he
He'd
was
be good
obviously
just
the
for
fall
that
guy.
ball.
They didn't
Right.
like. They didn't like his work in Chicago. He lost
Right.
his job.
Right.
Yeah. He was one of the Senior Bowl coaches last year too. He was mic'd up, so no, just a good guy, good way about him. I mean, I kind of just it seems like a good guy. Seems like somebody you'd like to have around.
So who are the shoulders to lean on for Gerard Mayo, for the offensive coordinator who's never done it, for the DC who's never done it, you know?
And how much of a leash does this? I don't want to leash, but how
Leeway.
much time do they have? Like, I mean, Gerard Mayo certainly he's got a chance to build his team and everything, but right now this is shaping up to be we're going to be a young coaching staff and a young team.
Yeah.
And we're going to have to all figure it out together.
If they show competence, if things are buttoned up, if it seems to be organized, if the players understand what they're being told and it makes sense, you give him 3 years anyway.
Yeah.
If things are just a hot mess, then you probably need to cut the cord earlier. But that I think takes care of itself by what it actually happens. I don't think you go into it and say it's 3 years no matter what.
Yeah. Were you on Felger Mass yesterday?
I was.
Okay, I tuned in at 5:05, but I
Nice.
was in the middle of Felger, just like the darkest of times for the
Oh,
Patriots.
so this is actually funny.
Yeah.
So I always tell you guys
Yeah.
how the emails go
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
morning, and evidently Mike woke up Wednesday morning and had an epiphany that, wow, they really are not really good, and they're
Yeah, it sounded like
they're
it.
far away.
Right.
Yeah, it sounded
Like it was amazing.
Yeah.
And
They were
all
4
of
and
us
13.
and it's 4 years of no offense.
Right.
We will started on them, all three of us, Jim Murray, Tony, and myself, and we're all like, you're just getting to this now, Mike?
Yeah.
And he's like, I know. And that was his whole show yesterday. He just kept saying, he goes, and I know I'm late to the party. Everybody else has been telling me, but I just
What
they
triggered this
have no
epiphany?
receivers.
Yeah.
They have no
No
offensive
tackles,
line.
no tight
They have no
ends.
quarterback.
Right.
They
No-
have nobody to coach the quarterback.
I love that. They have no scheme. It's like, I mean, I get what you're saying, Felger, but it's been a week and a half since they fired. They give them some.
But it's
a week or
amazing
two.
that he woke up yesterday and decided that all these things were true when
What triggered this?
we just watched the last 2 years of the worst offense in football.
I think on his part, a lot of it is showmanship. He's.
I don't think a lot
don't
of this
know.
was showmanship
I love
yesterday.
how-
Usually it is.
Yeah.
I agree
No,
with
I
you
love
on
how
that.
Paul's describing, because the reason I brought it up, I thought the same thing, and I mean, I flipped on at 5, and I think they usually do kind of a recap of what they've been doing, and that's what he did. He was just going right down the line, and I'm like, I mean, what? But dude, we're a week and a half into a completely new regime. I know it's a long way to go, but it was just kind of striking.
I mean, they've had problems with the offense since Cam Newton, and this year they were 4 and 13. For the most part because of the offense.
Oh,
and it's a bad situation. They're I don't say the whole team, but from the offense, I think they're building from the ground up.
Yeah.
And this gets to
It's a complete, total rebuild.
yeah,
of
and this
offense.
gets to the other thing that I don't know what the exact number was, but 11 OCs that they've or potential OCs that they've talked to. A lot of people have turned down the job, stayed where they are. If you're looking for 2 years of success to get a head coaching job, this is a bad job for you because you're not going to do it. But if you're interested in building,
Isn't this what you yelled at me for the other day?
no, but if you're interested in building an offense in your own image from the ground up, this is a good job. You're going to have a top pick. You're going to be able to do that. You've got some money to spend or burn, as the head coach would say. So it is. But if you're looking for that quick fix just to move on to be a head coach really quickly, this would be a tough one.
I think that was the thing that resonated through Felger's craziness. But you're right. It's not. I think everyone's looking at the third overall pick and the cap space and the available free agents and it's they have resources, but they can't fix everything on offense in this
it's not going to happen in 1 year.
There's no way they're going to plug every single hole. So really the conversation now becomes, what are you willing to punt on? What do you think you cannot wait for? And that's, when you get back to the conversation we had on Tuesday with the third quarterback, is it, do you take the third quarterback, or do you say, look, I mean,
if
we're
you
trying
love
to
him,
stop.
yes.
Yeah, I don't, and
If you're wishy-washy, no.
I feel wishy-washy right now about it.
But you're not selecting.
Yeah.
Now I know, but
for me, it's Drake May.
yeah,
If the guy is Drake May, I'll take him. If it's Jaden Daniels,
Yeah.
I'm wishy-washy.
So
Yeah, I
whoever
feel
it
the
is, if your guy is there, you need to take him. But if if you're settling, then then trade down or take Marvin Harrison or whatever, but don't waste it on a guy you're not sold on.
Yeah.
Deuce's trade down is in play.
I think it is. I
Yeah.
More
think it
tackles.
is.
More tackles.
Well, and I mean, just to Senior Bowl shout out. Watching some of that yesterday. I mean, there's a bevy of tackles that are just big, mean, great prospects that are going to go throughout the first round. So it's, now it just gets back to like these discussions that we have every offseason of like if a class is stacked, well, do you just wait for one of them, or do you say, I want the best one of all these tackles? I mean, I think this, you talk about the league needs tackles so bad right now. This class is like a godsend to so many teams, but now it's like jockeying for position. And it's, yes, there's a lot of them, but do you love all of them? Are you sure on all of them?
And that's the temptation for the Patriots is, other than quarterback, you're going to be able to pick the best player at any position.
Yeah. And to that point, Fred, as it stands right now, barring a trade of those top 2 picks, I feel like the Patriots kind of control the draft in some ways. I think, what was it, a couple years ago, same kind of thing where it's like who the first couple picks are going to be, but what's that next team going to do? Are they going to trade out and allow everything to kind of go sideways, or are they going to make a pick off the beaten path that's going to screw everything up for all these mock drafts that are, this Williams, May, Daniels. Williams, May, Daniels. I mean, just pretty much everyone I look at is Williams, May, Daniels.
Yeah. None have Harrison.
I had not that I'm like going through every single one like it's.
But are the mocks that you're looking at based on just the value chart or the need of the team as well, and what you think the team will? Because that's assuming that the Patriots like Daniels. They may not like him,
right?
And then then your mock draft is screwed.
And you never know. And I mean, the value probably would have Harrison in the top 3.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I would take. Yeah.
But that's not how you do mock drafts.
No, you shouldn't anyway.
I mean, I've seen.
Now, there's different. Like Daniel Jeremiah has his top 50, and I assume that he has Harrison in the top 3.
I think he's 2 actually. I think it's Williams, Harrison.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I mean, and I get your point, but I think actually Chicago at the top,
right,
because of their situation with Fields.
Yep.
They have a lot of control of the draft.
Do you think that they would wait on Fields, though, or is that something that would happen, a week or 2 before the draft? I mean, we're not talking day one, like the night of the draft that they would move. I mean, when did they make that decision?
They're probably in conversations with teams about trades, leading in, and then based on how those trades go, then you determine what you want to do with Fields, right? Because I don't think you keep both.
No.
I mean, you could roll the dice with him and say, well, we have a 4th-year quarterback. We can keep him.
Let him fight it out.
And he plays this year. We draft Caleb Williams, but he plays. And then we let him walk.
Yeah.
There's
no way that
then Caleb Williams
like
sits
that.
a year. I mean, it's not the worst plan that I've ever heard. It's probably harder to do emotionally.
I like that.
When you
than
say
it just looks like on paper.
Right.
The nerds would like it.
When you say
the
fight
nerds
it out,
would say,
though,
no, that's what you do. Math. It says right here, math.
Yeah. I mean, if you're gonna pick a guy, high like that, it's the intent. He's going to be the starter someday. I don't care what Fields does.
Oh, right. That's what I'm saying. You let him play his 4th year.
Yeah.
It's in his best interest to play as well as he can. It's not like he's going to dump on him.
Right.
And then you let him walk.
You have
and then
to.
Caleb Williams is the starter in year 2.
No matter how good Fields is.
Right.
Yeah, but it's got to be appealing for Chicago to think we can move Fields and get some draft capital, and then we can put more around Williams rather than
the question
having an
is
asset.
when
You could even decide at the trade deadline. Like maybe he plays a good half a season, and maybe you're in it, maybe you're not, but he plays really well, and then you trade him, and maybe you can get a 2nd-round pick or something at the deadline, and then you let Caleb Williams play the rest of the season.
I mean, the question is, for the Bears is, when will his value be highest on the market? And it's a risk. Mm-hmm. Is it now? Is it just before the draft? Is it right after the draft? Or is it after he's played a little bit and maybe does well? But no matter what you do, you're taking a risk.
Yeah. What did you wait to see how the free agency market plays out and where those guys, the Kirk Cousins, where those guys land, and then
does someone get desperate?
Yeah.
Someone that didn't get it, does in Atlanta, maybe they wanted Kirk Cousins, maybe they wanted Baker Mayfield. They didn't get any of them.
Yep.
And they come back.
Yeah.
So
it's tough to put the puzzle together right now, and I think that's what everybody's kind of starting to do.
And if you're a team that wants Fields or is interested in Fields, what's your strategy? Is it, give him something, give him a pick now and get it done with, and so that it's tempting enough where they can't say no, like a high 2nd-round pick, or do you wait, see if the value goes down? It's.
Yeah.
But if you really like Fields, I would say you're talking to them now.
Mm-hmm.
Are you even interested?
Yeah. I'm surprised the rumors haven't started to kick up. I mean, that's maybe because of the Super Bowl. Once everybody gets down down there, they'll start talking. But it's no, there's just a lot of holes to be filled up for the Patriots, and I think that's what everybody is kind of at right now. Of looking at that number 3 overall pick. It's great. We can talk about what 3 guys that they might potentially take there, but it's it's free agency. It's all that. How do they build this team? And even just watching some of the Senior Bowl, it's like, what am I even looking at? Like, who like, what is Nick Haley like? Like, on defense, what, like, is it still kind of, are they running the same stuff still? Like, they want those same kind of guys. Like, every time there'd be like a special teams player from Navy, and like, oh, well, you got to watch this guy. I mean, I'm joking with that part, but you know what I mean? Like, long snapper from Navy. Yeah. So it's, I think it's hard. You don't know exactly how it's all going to come together, how they're going to even try to put this offense together.
Other news, Dan Quinn reportedly is going to be the Commanders' head coach. So that's it.
That's it.
All the head coaching vacancies have been filled.
Well, till after the Super Bowl in Kansas City.
Well, if Reed steps down. Right. Yeah.
Schefter just keeps saying it, and I think it's so odd.
He's just trying to manifest. Speaking
Why?
of
Why would is there any kind of like evidence that he might do that?
No.
I mean,
that
if you
Andy Reid
win-
might step down? Yeah.
If you win, you go out on top.
He might have said it to somebody. Reed might have
Well,
said
he
it
said
to
it
somebody.
last year. He's been saying it for the last couple of years, but I just don't think it makes any sense to replace him with Bill Belichick now. I don't think it makes any sense.
Well,
They have 2 former head coaches on staff. So if you don't hire one of those guys, you're blowing out the whole staff.
Right.
For a team that, in this hypothetical, is back-to-back Super Bowl champion, and I'm just going to say, you know what? That was too much success. Let's blow it all up.
Well,
I don't think it makes any sense at all.
Do you have to blow it up? I mean, in this case, if it's all, I've never heard Bill say this, but if it's true that he really wants to break down Shula's record, for this situation, you might make a concession and say, I'm just going to come in and coach and win games with the best quarterback in the league for a few years and then quit.
But what does Steve Spagnuolo and Matt Nagy say?
They stay where
Peace.
they are.
See ya.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Maybe they want to keep winning too. It's fun to be on a team that wins.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't think there's any chance that Bill Belichick would be the coach and the rest of the staff would stay.
Matt Nagy's not going to be the head coach. He stunk in Chicago.
Well, Spags stunk as a head coach
Right.
too, but their former head coaches, they're going to leave.
Well, yeah, but neither one of them is going to be the new head coach of the Kansas City Chiefs.
I'm not sure of that.
I think they'd be crazy to do that.
I'm not sure of that.
Bieniemy maybe bring Bieniemy back.
Maybe, but
You could do that. Bieniemy with maybe Nagy would stay for that.
Yeah, to me, those 2 guys are where they should be. They should be coordinators. That's their ceiling.
Yeah.
And sometimes you realize that.
Spags is heck of a defensive.
He's a really good defensive coordinator, and that's his calling.
I just find it crazy.
Spags, I think, is probably content with it.
Yeah.
Nagy, my guess
He
with
wants another
Nagy is
shot.
he's looking for another shot.
Sure.
And I don't think he'd be wrong to. I think he had more success than other guys that got second shots.
Well, it's just such a heater. Like, who would dump Patrick Mahomes in the prime of his career and be like, I'm good. I can, like, there's so much, like, so many more games to win with that guy. Like, are you going to tap out now? Like, it's not that hard.
So I think that I could see a situation where Belichick comes in and is just the coach, and, they keep winning.
What about Buffalo next
Well, I think
year?
they would keep winning if Belichick was the coach
Yeah.
because it's the best team in football.
Right.
But I don't see any scenario that the staff all just stays in place and Bill just becomes the head coach.
Because you think
His
they'd
kids-
leave or he'd get rid of
His kids are coming with him.
Oh.
Patricia's coming. McDaniels is coming.
But maybe not. I mean, you're
Joe
just
Judge.
assuming all that.
Oh,
Maybe
I forgot about Joe Judge.
Thank you. But if Bill takes a year off, though, does that affect his chances, you think?
Yes,
Or is it,
I think it does. I think everyone's saying, "Oh, all these other jobs are going to open up," and there are always jobs that open up, But
I agree with you,
now
Fred.
he's even a year older.
Yeah,
and
right. And he's gotten out of that. He's been
Yeah.
in this rhythm for what?
Yeah, I had a conversation
50
with Chris
years?
Gasper about it. He seems to think it'd be great for him to just take a step back. You'd be further removed from the stink of the 4-13. I'm like, yeah, and he'd be a year older. He's going to be 73 when he's looking for another job.
And you're out of the league. Like, you're not. I mean, maybe he would continue to watch film and players and break down and stay up on everything. But like, I got to imagine it's hard to. I mean, Sean Payton could probably tell you what it's like.
I mean, other guys have done it.
Yeah.
It's not unprecedented that coaches who've been out of it come back and get head coaching jobs. So it's not unprecedented. But I don't know. It just depends on what his demands
It's not
are.
unprecedented to take a year off. It would be unprecedented to take a year off at age 72.
Yeah. Well, I don't think that's ever been done.
That's therefore unprecedented.
Yeah. But it's Bill Belichick. I mean,
Yeah. No,
you know.
there's
Okay.
always going to be a team
What
willing.
does that mean
Yeah,
exactly?
like if,
Well,
if
I
the
think you put him in a
Cowboys
He
different-
just had 6 openings and didn't get any of them.
I know, but I
and,
think-
and talked to reportedly one team.
Well, that's the thing. He only talked to one team.
That means no one else wanted him, Fred.
I don't know about that. I think the Cowboys wanted him,
Jerry
and I think
Jones was
I think
kinda
I
dropping
think
that
Bill
yesterday.
said when you have an opening, I'll talk to you. I'm not going to talk to you while you have a coach employed. I just won't do
That's
that.
not
If
what
the
Jerry
Cowboys
Jones
drop
said.
a couple games next year early on, like I could see them parting ways with Mike McCarthy and Belichick sitting there pretty.
I could see them parting ways with Mike McCarthy, but I don't think it, automatically means that Bill is going there.
Definitely
I
not.
just
Especially with Vrabel, also like that's another thing. Mike
Yeah.
Vrabel doesn't have a
Right.
job right now.
That's true.
Coach of the year, how many seasons ago? Like
2.
Yeah. What does he do
Insane.
this year?
I don't know. He's
he
on a
should
flight
come
to
here.
Boston.
Special advisor to Gerard Mayo.
Everybody talks about Bill
please.
going to the booth. I think
Yeah.
Vrabel would be a great analyst.
Yeah.
You kidding me? He would be a guy who's not afraid to say things.
Well, I got a text from our producer Don Maxon, who's a big BC guy, and he was lamenting Jeff Hafley leaving in the middle of the night to go to Green Bay, and I said go give Vrabel, but I think it's becoming more of a thing now with college with all the NIL stuff, and
Yeah.
it's becoming a different environment, and I don't know if it's the same kind of. I mean, maybe it never was that appealing thing to NFL coaches generally, but it's a different ballgame now in college, and I think you have to be ready to deal with all that stuff now.
my first thought with BC was your old buddy. I wonder if he had any regret.
Chesney?
Yeah,
Yeah.
from Holy Cross.
JMU. Well, I mean, you know college football landscape better than me. What would be James Madison or BC? What would be?
No, well, BC obviously, a higher job in terms of ACC and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, if he hadn't already taken that, I wonder if he would have thought differently.
Yeah, the Holy
I don't
Cross
know
old
where he's
schoolers.
from originally,
He's from Pennsylvania, actually.
Okay.
But he's been in Worcester. He
So
was at
it's-
Assumption, and then.
but it's not like it had to be New England. That was something he was
Yeah.
always thinking of.
Yeah.
For Vrabel, I don't think BC makes a ton of sense. I don't think
Just
it's
his
I
kid
don't-
went there, right?
I don't
That's
think it's a
about it.
great job.
Was the Hafley thing like a shocker to BC, or had they been planning
Well,
for
I saw
this?
Kevin Stone writing a little bit about it. I think he said all of a sudden, all the football team got up last night at halftime of a basketball game, BC, and walked out because they had just heard that So, I think it was a surprise to a lot of people.
Wow.
Yeah, he was out.
So in other words, it's going to take them a little while for this search.
yeah,
They don't have a guy lined up.
no, and it seems like a lot of that's been done already. So
It is a little late too
yeah.
for colleges. It's
Well,
it's a little late.
usually whoever the head coach of BC has spoken at the coaches clinic that I do.
Yeah.
And, this year, for some reason, BC wouldn't commit. They sent one guy, one of the assistants. And it's that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
And now we know why.
Did you
Could've
get
broke
any of
some
the Holy
news.
Cross guys? Are they still coming?
Just one so
Drew?
far.
Yeah.
Drew Cannon.
Yeah.
He didn't go.
No, he went with them, but
Oh.
I was asking about going
he's
to the.
not coming.
No, not
It's
to the
somebody
coaching
else
clinic.
from Holy Cross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
There's
misunderstood.
a lot
I
of
know what you're
shakeup
saying.
right now, so we're slow in getting our
Yeah.
clinicians in.
I want to go to that this year. I always want to just go and listen.
Why don't you just get Evan to talk?
Could.
That'll
Yeah.
clear the room in a hurry.
Yeah. XY concepts. I don't know what he calls them. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Leak.
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 Pull pin.
Pin pull.
Pin pull.
Pin
pull.
pull.
You can't pull before you pin. If you pull, you're going to have a bad time.
Pin pull. Even I knew that one.
Yeah, I know you like to talk about the scheme, so.
All right. What else before we open it up to the listeners?
Well, no, we talked about
No game this weekend.
No game this weekend.
Yeah.
No picks. We don't even have to hurt.
No, I'll give the results though.
Yeah, we'll do that.
At the end of the show, I'll give the results, and
Yeah.
we'll get ready for the last one.
Yeah.
Freddie's got a little competition.
Okay.
Oh,
All right.
Not really.
it's postseason. He kicks it into a new level.
Well,
He's got a feel for the league. Well, you know what the problem? Fred actually gets better in the postseason because all of the teams that he has biases against generally don't make the playoffs.
No Cincinnati, no Jets.
That's why last
Denver.
year he struggled. The last couple of years he struggled in the postseason because the Bengals have been part of the playoffs. This year they were back to being the Bengals.
It's going to be interesting to see when Joe Burrow comes back, how he kind of fits into what we've learned this year of just Patrick Mahomes continuing to.
I mean, we've given him a pass, but now this is 2 seasons where it's been derailed by injury.
Yeah. Can he get back into that level? And what does it look like? Do they bring T. Higgins back?
Yeah.
Did you guys read that piece that Chris Gasper had yesterday on Brady Sr.?
No,
I saw some highlights of it.
It was very funny. Like the headline was extremely misleading.
Well, that's what I
know. I can't scale the wall that they have at Globe, but
Well, I could just give you my hard copy.
Like if you read, like, do you agree that like you thought it was a lot more rosy from the headline, but once you get into
that's what everybody
there's
said.
There's one mildly complimentary quote at the top. The headline is Brady Sr. goes to bat for Belichick.
Right.
And this one mildly complimentary
It's the
quote.
greatest coach of all time.
He's a great, great, great coach.
Right.
3 greats.
3 greats.
3. So
And then
it's kind of like when I called him a very, very good drafter.
Damn rights.
Right? And then the rest of it is all about how
he didn't do nothing without Brady.
He thought that Brady was done. He went on and won a Super Bowl without him. It was just like regular
but
Tom
even
Brady
that
Sr.
quote, he's a great, great, great coach, but there was a but after that.
Yeah.
He's got a personality flaw.
In Foxborough, there's been his interpersonal skills are terrible.
Right.
In Foxborough has been down in the dumper the last 5 years or whatever.
Ouch. Mr. Brady, come
Yeah,
on.
well,
Guy.
Put him in the booth.
I'd rather have him in the booth than his son.
Yeah.
Tell you that.
I'm with you, Paul. I'm so curious how to say that. And I think everybody kind of defaults to it's Tom Brady. He'll figure it out. Well,
He's so competitive.
He never figured out acting, so I don't know.
That's a good point. And Deuce would know. Deuce spent time in Hollywood,
act,
you know.
Can't act. What's his
Alex, did you know
motivation?
that Deuce used to be in Hollywood?
It's true.
I sure
have a whole
did.
song about
Me
it,
and
actually.
Deuce have been working on some screenplays.
Oh, for God's sake.
Yeah, we have. We got to work on that one today.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Got Fred's notes.
Are these? What's the genre?
Oh,
Drama?
No, you know
comedy?
what we're working on. We're working on
Schedule
on our
release?
thing, on our little schedule.
Oh, our thing.
But our thing was Fred gave me some notes, but it came with a disclaimer. He's like, don't mind the stain on the front page.
Well, it's like
He said it's not what you think it is.
That's back to my interview. When I interviewed with Fred and he had a stain on his T-shirt.
And I was like, well, from the looks of it, he really liked it.
I was just getting over the unfortunate phrase from last week.
You know what it is? It's like liquid glue that I was trying to glue this lampshade.
He's thought about this.
And I got it all over the place, and it does look
Liquid glue.
Yeah.
Liquid glue.
In your office?
yeah, in my office. It does look
Got
suspicious.
the Elmer's out.
So when I handed Deuce,
He's either a deviant or he's trying to get high, sniffing glue.
Yeah.
so when I handed Deuce the script, I said it's not what you think it is.
So we'll be working on that later. Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff.
You smell it. It's glue.
Yeah. Oh, I'm
No,
not
I
smelling
can
anything.
We'll
imagine.
make a photocopy.
I was about to run it through the photocopy machine just to be safe.
I got some latex.
Hope you're one of those black lights.
I don't need a DNA test, you know. Yeah.
What was that?
Is that hair gel?
I know that movie.
Oh, okay. Freddie got a reference.
Yeah. 855-PATS-500 is the Ace Ticket Hotline. Web radio at patriots.com is the email address. All right, let's open it up, right?
Open it up.
Whatever we missed, I'm sure our listeners
Stacked
will-
phone lines
Yeah,
over there, Freddie.
It really is. We got it fixed, right? Yeah.
Ish.
Yeah, there's still a couple lines down, but we've got 4 lines working. Arthur's in New York. What's up, Arthur?
Hey, how are you guys? First, I heard Paul say earlier that he was a little wishy-washy on Daniels. Personally, I'm just wishy because I wish that we just draft this guy. I mean, I think he's the best quarterback in the draft. If I had the first pick, I would take him there.
Yeah.
But my second point is there's a lot of people like on the internet campaigning about certain offensive coordinators who they think the best offensive coordinator hire should be. But the reality is none of us know these guys personally. I mean, Brian Fleury is the 49ers tight ends coach. Thomas Brown is the Bears passing game coordinator. I didn't even know that a passing game coordinator was a thing. Nick Haley,
isn't.
formerly with the Patriots, but is the Rams tight ends coach. How does anybody actually know unless you are breaking down their playbook, know them personally, are coaching within the building who
Right.
the best guy is.
I agree with
The
you on
people
that.
Campaigning on the internet, yeah.
I agree with you on that. I think people are just going off of resumes, and that's what I go off of more than anything. I'm looking for a guy who actually has some experience calling plays. But I wanted to get back, Arthur, to your original point about Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels. What is it about Daniels that you like more than Williams?
Well, first of all, the rushing ability is on a completely different level. He's run for over 2,000 yards and 20 touchdowns over the past 2 seasons. He is by far the best rusher in the draft. You could make a case that Caleb Williams has a little bit better pocket presence, his ability to move around the pocket, but rushing ability on the whole, if Jaden Daniels couldn't throw the ball at all, he would still have such a high floor just due to his rushing ability. He's a better rusher than Justin Fields, in my opinion. He's that special and electric of a rusher. He can snap off a 70-yard run. That's not something that Caleb Williams is going to do.
Okay, got it. I would agree with you. I think he's a better runner than Caleb Williams.
But he's not just a better runner. He's an elite runner, like Jalen Hurts type.
So would you rather have Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes?
Well, that's the thing that I love about Jaden Daniels. He completed over 70% of his passes this year, even as a true freshman at Arizona State in a completely different
I don't care what his
offense.
completion
He threw
percentage
17
is.
touchdowns to 2 interceptions. He throws a beautiful deep ball. That's what people are going to realize when they actually see him.
He's
throw
not
the
a
ball
great
at his
passer.
pro day.
He's
He
not
is a great passer.
He's not a great passer. He's got a lot of work to do as a passer.
But what makes you say that? Because he can.
From watching him against good defenses, he struggles.
He played Texas A&M, a defense that hadn't given up a touchdown in 25 straight drives.
Watch
and
the
he
Florida
absolutely
State
diced him
game.
up. Watch the
Both of
Alabama
them,
game.
actually.
He put up over 350 yards and 3 touchdowns against Alabama. 350 yards and 3 touchdowns this season.
Yeah, he's not a great passer. He's a great runner. I agree with you on that. But he's nowhere near Caleb Williams as a passer. Not even close.
But you got to look at the offense.
He's got better weapons.
No, which I agree with you, because like Malik Neighbors is also going to be a top 10 pick in the draft. But I don't think you can discount what he actually did. I mean, he was the runaway Heisman. He had 40 passing touchdowns this season. That's more than Caleb Williams by a lot. He had over 4,800 yards, from scrimmage.
Listen, Bailey. No one had better stats than Bailey Zappi. Like the stats don't just watching you can't possibly compare Jalen Daniels as a passer to Caleb Williams. They're not even close.
But he did it. Okay, look, in 2019, that was the same offense that N'Keal Harry was in 2018 at Arizona State. That offense was broken, right? They were not an explosive offense. They were coming off of Herm Edwards as a coach, who
I'm just going off of last year. I'm not going. I'm not going to like.
But you have to look at.
But I'm not going to hold against him what he did when he was 18 years old 6 years ago. I'm just talking about the last 2 years.
But does that not matter to you that as a true freshman in the SEC,
that he struggled a little bit
in the Pac-12, which is a difficult,
It's not really. It's not. I mean, this
true
past year it was pretty good, but traditionally it hasn't been all that good.
But for an 18-year-old true freshman,
he struggled, and I get it. Like he was just a kid. I get it.
Phenomenal.
Oh, he's saying he was good,
At
Paul.
Arizona State this year.
I can't. If obviously he's related to Jalen Daniels in some way. I mean,
he had a quarterback rating of 150.
Do you ever watch college games and see anybody with a bad quarterback rating?
Absolutely.
Who?
150 is exceptional, especially as a true freshman.
Okay. All the other people that watch these games are wrong. Arthur's the only one that sees the true greatness in the passing. He's got a lot of work to do as a passer. He looks to run. He's in. Everything you said about Daniels as a runner, I agree with.
I don't know the answer to
this. He looks to run first.
But let me ask you,
and that is something that is hard to do in the NFL.
Is he a better passer now than Lamar Jackson was when he was coming out of college?
Very similar.
100%.
Very similar, Paul says.
And by the way, as long as we're just going to go by stats, why don't you look at Lamar Jackson's stats his junior year when he won the Heisman Trophy? He just said he couldn't throw. Absolutely. Stats were there. So don't tell me about the 150 passer rating in the 40 touchdowns. But
look, what was the knock on Lamar Jackson coming into the league? He was a little skinny, right?
He needed to develop as a passer.
But that's what he did. But it was also his frame. That's the biggest knock on Jaden Daniels right now is his frame.
No, the biggest knock on Lamar Jackson was if you bring him in, you're going to have to redo your offense to tailor to his game
because he wasn't an accomplished passer.
And
I think, to be honest with you, I think he's great, but I think there's still questions about that.
Yeah.
Okay, But is 40 touchdowns to 4 interceptions not impressive as a passer? Have you
It's not.
I'm
It
just
doesn't.
saying,
At the college level, it does absolutely nothing for me. Nothing.
He wasn't. Bo Nix completed 70% of his.
I think Bo Nix stinks. That's what I'm telling you. I don't think Bo Nix is a very accurate passer, and his completion percentage was through the roof.
But Jaden Daniels was throwing it down the field and completing his passes. That's my
to
point.
wide open players. Like Mac Jones threw it all over the place too. I don't think he can hit the broadside of a barn.
He made tight window throws. To say in a vacuum that everyone was wide open because he had good weapons around him is false.
I just don't think he's a great passer. We can agree to disagree.
Arthur,
I don't need a stat to tell me he's a great passer.
You need to stay in touch here. I mean, we need you to
and Paul
we need you to be a regular contributor.
And just
thank you
before
for the call.
Before Arthur goes, of course
you
dump him. I like Jaden Daniels. I just don't like him like that.
Well,
he has work to do.
Somebody's going to be right here.
He has work to, no.
Somebody's going to be right.
My guess is neither one of us is going to be right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see.
Because if you just go by 70% completion percentage, that doesn't tell me anything.
But
that's what he was doing. He was giving me stats. 40
just,
touchdowns,
but
70%. I don't care. He's not he's not a gifted pocket passer. Okay. He's a great gifted runner.
Okay. But I think I like it. Arthur brought it. First call right out of the chute. Bang. I love it.
To bring it.
He
I
had
wish
receipts.
I haven't felt that passionate about a college player in a long time.
And it's not like he's from New York. He wasn't even from Louisiana or whatever.
I mean, if I was as passionate about Jaden Daniels as he is, I would be riding high right now because I'm like, we got him. Let's go. We're gonna get him. We're gonna get him.
And I will not be pissed off if they draft Jaden Daniels. I'm just a little wishy-washy on him. I think he could go either way.
And I love.
But if they decide that they think he's worth the investment, I look back at Lamar Jackson with a lot of regret from the Patriots' perspective. Now, it's a little different at the end of the first round than it is at the top of the first round, but I think that was a lost opportunity. I think that would have been the perfect kind of guy who's not going to be ready and clamoring for playing time as you go through the twilight of Brady's career. I think that Josh McDaniels was interested in it, and I don't think they pulled the trigger for whatever reason. And I think that was a mistake. So if they end up getting Jaden Daniels and Arthur ends up being right, I think we'll all be happy about it.
Because Josh says, I really like this Lamar Jackson, and the room says, and you like Tim Tebow.
I think
we'll pass.
Fred, I think you might be right.
I know.
I think you might be right.
Go sit in the back.
But listen, if Arthur ends up being right and he comes in and he's more C.J. Stroud as a passer than Lamar Jackson was, that's great. Yeah. And he's the Patriots guy, and you got your guy. You got our guy,
But I liked his first line. He says, Paul said, I'm wishy-washy. He says, I'm wishy.
I'm wish. I did like that line. That was a good line.
Good line. He's called other shows before. He's practiced this.
Oh, yeah.
But I love it. Eldred's in New York. What's up, Eldred? What are you doing in New York?
New York.
Driving the truck.
You're not supposed to be a boat.
I'm in New York. I'm in shock.
Jeez.
Eldred's on the run.
That's Alex with Tamara and the fellas. How y'all doing?
Good.
Hey.
Hey, I love that passion, but bro, I'm going to disagree with you. He wasn't the runaway Heisman because, like all the analysts said, it should have went with Penny. He should have got it, but they gave it to him. And another thing, they do have us picking Daniels in 3. Number 4, Marvin Harrison going to Arizona. Mm-hmm. But me, if I had my wish, I'm getting Marvin Harrison at 3, and on the second round, I'm getting Michael Penix. He's a better passer. He can't run like y'all said. He don't run like Josh Allen or Jaden Daniels, but he can move and he's more active as a passer.
Yeah, you've been on his bandwagon for a while.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep being on it.
Yeah.
You know what? I told y'all about Stroud last year. What you say, Mike?
I don't know.
Eldred, that's like starting all over again. What Stroud do? Last year,
but
last year before the
Eldred, hold on a second. I mean, telling us about Stroud last year was useless. Like he went with the second pick of the draft, or whatever he went. Was he number 2 or 3?
I would have traded Mac. I said I would have traded Mac and tried to shoot up and get C.J.
Yeah, but that's not going to do it.
No,
I mean, I can trade all my bad players to try to get the good ones too, but no one's really going to do that for you. Well, maybe trading Mac Jones wasn't getting you C.J. Stroud last year.
15 to.
All depends on what you trade up to get. Yeah. That's what I would have did. I'd have traded up and got him.
You would have done whatever it took.
That's what I would have did.
Yeah.
Whatever it took.
All right.
Yeah, because like I said, I watched him for 2 years. like I'm watching Penix for 3.
Like
Okay.
you can tell me like in 21 I like Justin Fields better than Mac Jones, and I would have traded up from 15 to get
I said that.
Justin Fields. That's realistic. The Patriots didn't realistically have a chance to trade up and get C.J. Stroud last year with
maybe not,
Mac
but like
Jones.
So Arthur's
Maybe not,
for
but like I said, I
Daniels,
would've shot it. I
Eldred's for
would've shot
Penix.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Penix struggling a little bit at the Senior Bowl, although I don't
Yeah.
care what
no,
happens.
No.
I don't
That's
care
not
what
I
happens at
heard
the
a
Super
couple
Bowl,
days
the
ago.
Senior Bowl.
He did the first day, but the last couple of days, NFL Network, and they showing it. No, he's not.
Okay.
No, he did the first day, but the other one, he's better than the rest of them.
The only one I heard that was really bad was Nick's.
Bo Nix was bad.
Which I'm not surprised at because I don't think
Nick's
he's
real
very
bad.
good.
Yeah, he's
No,
real bad.
they
He's
caught-
real bad. But his stock went up a little bit, and he's improving, doing better. And I like when they're throwing. Like you said, he can't throw short. He can't throw medium. He looked damn good yesterday doing it.
Yeah.
What they were showing.
All right.
I don't know.
No.
All right. Eldred's is on board for Penix. We got
Just don't get any rush on him.
Arthur for Daniels.
I like Penix.
Next up is Tony in Michigan. What's up, Tony?
Hey, lady and gentlemen, how we doing?
Good.
Hey, Tony.
Yeah, I guess quarterback-wise, I'm putting my vote in for Drake May.
Drake May. We got a
All
Drake
right.
May caller. All right.
Yeah, I kind of think the Daniels love is more people talking themselves into it because we won't be able to get Williams or May.
Sure.
I kind of agree with that.
Yep.
And you know, I mean, Daniels is a talented runner. He's definitely the best runner of the three. I think he's smaller than Lamar when Lamar was coming out, and I just don't love. He screams one-hit wonder to me, who produced when he had great talent. But anyway.
So what do you like about May?
Well,
the draft.
I'm going to be a little defensive of Daniels and take Arthur's argument. He wasn't a stiff at Arizona State. He was pretty good there. He wasn't a one-hit wonder. Now, he went to a Heisman Trophy candidate in the SEC playing against the best of the best, but he wasn't terrible his first year at Arizona State. He was
wasn't
pretty
terrible, but it's not. He was not really. It's not like, oh, watch this guy. This isn't a guy to put on the radar. Like where he's going to be amazing. As a prospect. He just kind of seems like a guy that climbed.
Yeah, he definitely climbed this year. He put himself in a different level. Absolutely.
Yeah. But I guess going to the draft, the way that I see this team, the offense is completely barren, and the defense is old. To me, this is a time where we should be looking at trading away guys like Judon, John Jones, getting what draft capital we can for some of these aging guys on defense, and really focusing on building both sides of the ball through the draft. I know people don't like that because it's kind of committing to, a lot of people see the defense as elite still, and that if we can get a mediocre offense, we'll be competing for the playoffs. I just don't feel the same.
I love that
And I
idea.
think by the time the offense is ready to compete, the defense is going to be, a bunch of Judon's coming off a season-ending injury. Barmore and Gonzalez are the only young building blocks we have right now.
I love that idea of Judon in particular. I think Judon could fetch you something.
Yeah.
I think you could get a second-round pick for Judon?
Oh, yeah. I think so.
And if
Third,
you could,
maybe?
it's
Third,
more
I'd probably
ammunition
say
to
third.
reload. And
I kind of like that
if
idea.
they're, I wouldn't be opposed to trading away Judon and trying to extend Uche to keep a young pass rusher around. I know, he hasn't really been up to the level of what, a young pass rusher will probably get on the free agent market.
Yeah, I'm less interested in that.
Yeah, the problem with Uche is he's so specialized. He's
Right.
fine.
He's not good against the run. He's
Yeah, I mean, I don't love him, but I think just to keep some sort of semblance of a pass rush, if they did move on from Judon, it'd be an idea to kick around. I guess I was just wondering, and then I can hang up, if you guys feel similarly that the timelines aren't lining up. The defense is going to be, aging and kind of declining by the time the offense is there, and should we kind of look at rebuilding the whole thing right now?
Yeah. I mean, I think that.
All right, thanks, Tony.
I think Tony. I think Tony makes good points. I don't really care about the timetable lining up as much as Tony does, but if you could tell me that the offense is going to get fixed, you can be fine on defense.
Yeah.
Like there aren't a lot of really good offenses that aren't threats because their defense stinks. Like, generally, if you have a really good offense, you're a contender. And I think the Lions' defense stinks as a comparison, and they absolutely should be playing a week from Sunday. But the timetable part of it, I want to make the move that I'm interested in the move that he wanted to make because I think that could quicken the timetable.
Yeah, I
agree. I think if you could get like a draft capital for those two guys that he mentioned, Judon and Jones. Now I don't know. I don't think Jonathan Jones is getting you anything, but Judon could.
Yeah.
For a team that's a premier position, and he's a proven standout pass rusher. For someone like Bradley Chubb when he went to the Dolphins, someone might do that.
Yeah.
Someone might give
Maybe
you a second-round pick.
An in-season one? I mean, is that what you think with?
Yeah, I mean, it could happen. To me, that's the timetable I'm interested in. How do I quicken the pace of adding all the things that I need to add on offense?
Yeah. Well, I think it's worth adding, I mean, perspective-wise, we don't know what's going to happen this year, but this group, Guy, Godshaw, Barmore, and Wise are all free agents next year. So,
and Tony's right about the age. Barmore and Gonzalez are the only two young guys on defense.
So, I mean, I like the sound of that and plug in Barmore, resource to Barmore.
And the defensive line's pretty old, except for Barmore. But other than, even Jonathan.
Judon, Bentley, Jones.
I said, Judon, but like Jones, how old is Jonathan Jones?
30.
Oh, is he that old?
Yeah.
I didn't think he was that old.
I know because everybody thinks the only reason why their average age on their roster was because Matthew Slater's been around a long time, but they had an old team.
Yeah. Which, I mean,
but Duggar's still on his first contract.
But he's he's gone.
Right,
I know, but
he's gone.
But he's not that old.
No.
Yeah.
If they're all back, then that's different.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming that he's gone. Uche's gone. Like those are the young guys on defense.
Yeah.
You could lose Jennings, Uche, Duggar, Barmore, and then you have basically just Gonzalez left as a young guy. Heading into the 25
they
season.
should be
right
getting him
because all of those guys are up now.
Right now,
except for Barmore, will be up next year.
I'm telling you, they should.
No disrespect to Uche or Duggar or Onwenu, but Barmore would be my priority right now, and that to all what we're talking about.
You can't let him go.
A long-term impact defensive lineman. It's
I would
strong
agree.
safety, a guard.
I would agree.
A
Barmore
designated
to
pass
me
rusher.
has a chance to be special.
Yeah.
Eric's in New Jersey. What's up, Eric?
Hey, how we doing today, Farley?
Good.
Like I said, I totally piggyback off of Tony. Again, I'm with him stride by stride. I thought you should have been able to trade John Jones last year at the trade deadline. With considering most teams need a lot of secondary help. I mean, he's going to be 32 coming at the end of this next season. I mean, people look at that Texans model and they try to see that we can replicate that, but we don't have the foundational pieces that. There's no Tunsil, there's no Mason here, there's no Nico Collins here. Some of those pieces, on the offensive side is just not there. And when you look at this, when you look at the roster in totality, there's no way that you can sit here and say, given the free agent class, maybe if you hit it out the park out the draft, but maybe realistically you get 2-3 guys, on average. But how quick can you really, in the state of this roster where you have most of your defensive turnover, like, again, Deuce just mentioned, a lot of these guys are free agents next year. There's no talent, backing these guys up. There's no talent, especially on the offensive side. I mean, so, what is, the realistic, expectation that we can sit here and say? Because, again, I don't want us to fall into that trap of 2021 where the free agent class, so say if Pittman, Higgins are all locked up, you're picking third-tier guys. Evans is locked up. Curtis Samuel, Marquise Brown. I mean, is that who you're going to, bring in that's going to change life? And again, the draft, I mean, there's a lot of good wide receivers, but game breakers, like your neighbors, Ogunze, Harrison, I mean, I think it's that class, and then there's, maybe Keon Coleman and Di Mitchell, and then there's just good wide receivers like your Kendrick Bourne type. So, I mean, it's just realistically, I just don't know how can you – the expectation, how can you, what is the vision that you guys see individually? And I'll take it off the line. Thanks, guys.
All right, thanks.
That's a great question. I mean, that's what I'm, scrambling to try to figure out how you can rebuild all these pieces. And then meanwhile, like I just said, you're staring at next year. The defense is they're going to all turn over along the line, which, I mean, I think is, critical. I mean, that's, say what you will about last season's Patriots team, but they at least were able to kind of win the line of scrimmage and do pretty well against the run.
It's just not going to happen overnight.
No, I think that there's no tackles in the league. It's so hard to find tackles. So I think, and it should have been a priority last year. They have to figure out a way to get a stud tackle this year, one way or another. Like that to me, like quarterback, you can take a swing on it, and I just continue to think with receivers. There's so many good receivers, and it's like Marvin Harrison is great.
If they had simply, I don't know the name, but if they had simply replaced Cole Strange with a tackle, they might be in a better position right now.
Very possible.
Like name a good tackle out of that draft.
So there's a lot of different things that you could do with that with names. So instead of Cole Strange, you take Trent McDuffie.
Right. Or
okay, no, but hold
I know
on.
he's not a tackle.
I'm not done.
Yeah.
Then instead of taking Christian Gonzalez, you have an all-pro cornerback already in Trent McDuffie. So now I can take a tackle.
Yeah. It's just compounds on itself.
And maybe and I don't know how good. What's the guy that we swindled the Jets out of? DeJuan Jones?
Yeah.
Which one?
Is
that the 4th round pick? Which one's the guy that Pittsburgh took?
Oh,
so the
Broderick
Jets couldn't
Jones.
take Broderick Jones.
Yeah.
Maybe you take Broderick Jones, and you're not looking here, walking around with a tin cup in your hand looking for a tackle.
Right.
Like that. That's the kind of. Those are the sort of chain reactions that.
So that's where I
bad
say
drafting kills you.
That's where I say to Eric.
Mike's holding
was it
his
Eric?
head. Mike's got a headache.
That's what I say to him is like, I don't know where this is going to come from. It's going to come from just being smart going forward and not making mistakes.
The bottom line is, regardless of who they take and where, they need to stack some draft classes together of quality players. And if they haven't been able to do it,
if you do that, you'll start.
Right.
The Jets.
You can do it in 2 years.
The
Jets did it.
The Jets are close. They just need a quarterback right now, and maybe some O-line help. But that's not that hard. Yeah.
And if they had a good quarterback, their O-line would look a lot better. Like they have two good. They did invest in their offensive line. They just always get hurt.
Yeah.
Becton has been a disappointment, but Vera Tucker's really good. He's just never healthy.
Yeah. So I mean, it can be done. It's like obviously there's hope. You just have to hit. You have to be smart.
And you can get by with average offensive line play if you're good. Like the problem with the Jets is obvious. They just don't have a quarterback that they can rely
on. Todd's in North Carolina. Hey, Todd.
By the way, they're a mess.
Hey, guys, I've been having a little trouble with the phone. I don't know if it's on your end or mine, but
it's on your end.
Probably. So here's what my thought process is. I don't think we should get a quarterback this year because we're probably going to get a young, new type OC. And I would like to get somebody veteran just as a placeholder, come in and let that OC get a year under his belt and then develop the offense. Because right now there's only one star on the offense. One guy that I consider to be, star worthy, and he's our slot back. Right? I think that's it. I don't
Pop.
Our running back. They're old. Like, give me a
star.
Give me a new one, and everything else. Like our O line is garbage. Our receivers, garbage. We need to start new. So I think we need to get, because we're most likely going to get a young OC. I can't see us getting anybody. I can't see McDaniels coming back. Please no. So let's get the OC 1 year with a older quarterback that's just going to sit in there and just hang out for a year and build the offense. And then when we can go in the next year's draft, and we'll have hopefully a bit of an O-line, maybe a receiver or two, and we can get that quarterback then and give him something.
So you're saying don't draft a quarterback this year, get a bridge guy and wait.
But why not do both?
Exactly.
Yeah. Why not get a bridge guy and draft a quarterback and let him learn?
Can you afford that? Can you actually get both into in or
sure. Why not?
Because I don't want a young guy going in there when this line is rebuilding and a new
No, you're not going to play him. He's going to sit. He's going to watch.
I mean, you can if you don't want to play him. You have that. Sign Jacoby Brissett and draft Jaden Daniels.
Is Jacoby free?
He's a free agent.
He's always free.
Now
he's a mercenary.
Now I'm just saying.
Thanks, Todd.
I'm just off the top of my head. I just threw out a veteran.
A way to kind of do it.
Yeah. Let's go to Kobe in Louisiana. What's up, Kobe? Kobe in Louisiana. Are you on mute? Have you muted yourself? No? Okay. All right.
Call back.
Goodbye, Kobe. Melvin, but not the Melvin. A different Melvin in Indiana.
Well,
What's
maybe
up,
it
Melvin?
is.
There can be only
Matt just
one.
wrote the wrong state down.
Hey, how's it going? Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Hello, new Melvin.
Different Melvin.
Alrighty. So, just one quick thing. I really don't see us, winning a Super Bowl next year through the draft. I think we need to pick a position, an important position, and start there. And I just think Marvin Harrison Jr. is a can't-miss talent. We get that right. It helps out the other guys on the offense. I know the line needs work. Quarterback play needs to be better. I get all of it. But maybe a Penix is there in the second round or a Joe Milton is there in the third or fourth round, and we can get somebody like that that's more of a project and give them a weapon like Marvin Harrison Jr. to work with, as well as Pop Douglas, as well as maybe signing a few other guys through free agency. We need a lot of pieces. I just think we need to pick something and get the best player at that position. And to me, Marvin Harrison is the best player in the draft, regardless of
a lot of people agree with you. Yeah. Thanks, Melvin.
I like that point because, I mean, whenever people are talking about the quarterbacks available, no one has a consensus. Everyone argues with each other. I'm not sold on an ACC quarterback, certainly. And I don't know if Marvin Harrison is the decided best player, generational talent, and we're talking about building this team through the draft, bring in a guy like Harrison, address the offensive line, and then bring in a bridge guy like we're talking about. Jacoby Brissett, Kyler Murray, Baker, like whoever it is, and just get us into a place where whatever the product is on the offense is at least respectable, and just go from there.
Sounds good to me. The only thing about some of the names you named, like Kyler Murray, they're going to want like $40 million.
For sure. For sure.
Like, are you willing to?
Him, no. Like,
not
sold on that. I would. I'm not sold on it. I don't think he's going to take us to the promised land, but I think it's better than taking a chance with this gift of a draft pick, and you're taking a chance on quarterbacks.
But
no one's
like
really sold
Garrett
on.
Wilson is the poster child for this thing, where you get the great wide receiver, and he's just kind of wasted. But if Aaron Rodgers is, near to form, Garrett Wilson's going to get his numbers this year.
Well, he's going to get his numbers, but you're going to win games.
Yes.
And this is No, I'm talking about before this. Like, it was a great draft pick.
Yeah.
But they had a quarterback, and then they decided to draft the wide receiver after they had the quarterback to give the quarterback a weapon. And it worked.
But
he's a great player.
But I'm just saying that if Rodgers comes back, now you don't have to worry about the wide receiver position.
But you just said you don't think that the Patriots would pay $40 million for that quarterback.
No, I'm just saying.
So then you don't have that option.
I'm just saying, everyone says you can't draft a great quarterback before you have the receiver. I'm with Alex. If you think this guy's generational,
the other way
take
around.
him. Take him.
No.
Even if you can't do anything
You're not
with
gonna
him, you have a really talented player to leverage into.
Right. Marvin
trading.
Harrison isn't going to be in next year's draft. He's in this draft.
Probably will be. I'm just telling you, he probably will be.
But will we be picking third? I hope not.
You probably will be.
I hope we're not sitting through another season like this.
I mean, you're probably going to be in the top 10. And I don't know, when was the last time there wasn't a receiver that was that good that came out? Like, not one.
For sure.
Like,
well, I don't know. I mean, the way they're talking about Harrison.
I know how they're talking about him. I'm just asking.
Oh, there's another guy that Paul doesn't
know. Bloodline, though.
Listen,
it's
wishy-washy on. Paul, wishy-washy on Marvin Harrison Jr.
I think he's tremendous.
Yeah.
Is he better than Justin Jefferson?
The way they're talking about him out of the draft,
Again, I know how they're talking about him.
Yeah.
Is he better than him?
I don't know, but I'm just saying.
Is he better than Jamar Chase?
Out of the draft, he's ranked higher than Chase was.
We don't have any of those guys.
I know what. Like Trevor Lawrence was considered that too. He hasn't been that.
That's true.
Okay, I understand what people are saying about him, and I love him. I think he's a great wide receiver prospect, and Alex's plan makes all the sense in the world. Doesn't matter if you're not going to pay $40 million, as you said they won't, for a quarterback. Because that's not going to help you do anything if you're just going to trot Jacoby Brissett out there.
What if you
throw
bring
to
Justin Fields over here?
You probably not. The Bears aren't interested in it. They've had him for 3 years. They have that option.
They could put.
They could keep Fields and take Marvin Harrison.
I know, but if in the event that they don't, that's a path.
A path to what?
Winning.
It's a path to being the Jets.
It's a path to a productive offense.
No, it's not. Not unless you have a quarterback.
So you don't like Justin Fields? You think he stinks?
Justin Fields isn't on the Patriots, Fred.
I said if you can get him.
So what are you giving up for that?
Whatever, second-round pick and whatever you want to give them. But I just as soon get him as a bridge. If you're talking about a bridge quarterback,
a third-round pick.
I just as soon take a chance on Justin Fields than bringing in Kyler Murray.
I have no problem taking a shot with Justin Fields, but I don't think that that's getting you where you want to go. I like Justin Fields.
I think it might.
Okay. So the Bears are just stupid. They don't see this opportunity that's staring them right in the face.
Maybe.
Just keep the quarterback you have and draft Marvin Harrison, and you are suddenly going to be a potent offense.
If the Bears were in the middle of the draft, let's say they were like 8-9 last year, they'd be sticking with Justin Fields. The thing is, they have this
7-10.
They have this opportunity now to get, because they have the high draft pick,
right from the trade,
to get the best of the best. Yeah, it doesn't matter how they got the pick; they have this pick staring in their face, and so now they have to make a decision: do we stick with Justin Fields, or do we go after the guy that we think is the best?
I know,
quarterback?
but you think it's a no-brainer.
I don't
you think
it's
the Patriots
a
would be right there if they did this.
No,
so why would the Bears not think that?
And people in Chicago don't think it's
like
a
the
no-brainer.
Patriots have the same option. They can draft a quarterback or they could go to Justin Fields.
I just told you, I don't think it's a no-brainer. People in Chicago are debating this.
Oh, I definitely think it's a debate. I
Right.
totally agree.
So now we can get, if they decide to go for, the other quarterback, we might be able to get Justin Fields, the guy that they're
I just don't
debating
understand
about.
why that is so exciting to people. I like Justin Fields, but
it's a hell of a lot better than what we got now.
Is it better than Drake May? Is it better than Caleb Williams? I don't think it is.
But we're not going to get them.
Why not? You're picking third. You have the resources. Finally, you're in position,
because the
as
teams
Mike
above,
said, to control something.
Because the teams above us want them. They like them too.
Then where's the debate? You're just talking in a huge circle.
No.
If it's a debate, it's a debate. If it's not,
No,
then,
but you
then you can get where you want to go.
My point about the debate is that it's not like they think Justin Fields stinks. There's a lot of people in Chicago that thinks he has a future, that he's been getting
I
better.
am intrigued by the Justin Fields thing just because I like that better than any alternative that anybody's. Now, if you're telling me that just pick one at 3, I like that the best. Someone that they say is if it's Jaden Daniels and Gerard Mayo says, I like this Daniels kid, I want Daniels, that would get me the most excited. But plan B would be this Justin Fields thing for me.
Yeah.
For me personally.
Right.
But by no means am I saying, well, you get Justin Fields and Marvin Harrison, there's your offense. I don't see it that way.
I think
DJ Moore is a really good player.
But here's the thing about
the Bears didn't have an offense.
Here's the thing about Justin
Not like
Fields.
that.
It's not like you're stuck with him. Like if he doesn't pan out, you're still in the quarterback market.
Right, but you've lost an opportunity.
But you've also got Marvin Harrison.
Right, I know, but you've lost an opportunity to do anything about. Do you think the Jets are looking at it right now saying, "But we have Garrett Wilson"? No, they're suicidal because they haven't had an ability to make that pan out.
They're also suicidal because their quarterback stunk.
Right.
And
this this is the scenario that I'm trying to unfold.
I know, but I don't think Fields is as bad as Zach Wilson.
No, he's not as bad as Zach Wilson.
So
I like
don't know.
Fields,
yes.
but I'm certainly not convinced he's the answer. Are you?
No.
I like Fields probably more than anybody in this room.
It would give me hope.
Yeah.
I would give me hope only because it would be something different.
Improvement.
I'm with Alex.
Is it better than Mac Jones and Bailey?
It would give me hope because I don't have to watch that guy play for my team anymore.
We got a generational receiver, and we got a quarterback who might be good.
Generational receivers. I never played it down.
I hope.
But that's what they're saying. I'm
That
just
bloodline, though.
you know.
I know, and that's like you're getting to like the heart of like the football debate right now, which is like nothing better than to roll Marvin Harrison out on the field as the draft pick, and that gets the fan base excited in fantasy
Shiny new
football.
toy.
And
there's a million examples of these guys that come in and they're great, and like Calvin Johnson was as good as anybody I've ever seen. Like, for what? What do you get out of it? Like, it's just a hard position to control a game from when you don't have an answer at that quarterback spot. And I just look at it like, do you honestly think, like, I love Marvin Harrison. I've seen him play at Ohio State for the last 2 years, just like everybody else has. I don't break down the film. I don't see him run leak or stick.
No.
Okay, but I love the player.
Rob?
He looks to me like he can get deep. He's a precise route runner. He looks to me like the total package. What do you think the chances are that he's better than Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase or a lot of these other, Tyreek Hill, these elite receivers that are in the league? I think the best case that you have is that he's comparable to those guys.
Yeah.
And if Justin Jefferson was, and you knew, if you knew then what you know now about Justin Jefferson, and he was at 3, wouldn't he be worth taking?
What do I have for a quarterback?
same scenario.
Because if I was the
you're
if
in the
I was
same
the Vikings
situation that you are right
well, if
now.
I were the Vikings next year and I do not retain Kirk Cousins, no, that wouldn't be my pick.
Yeah. Well,
if I was able to re-sign Cousins and I have Justin Jefferson on the board at number 3, sign me up.
Yeah.
So if the Patriots want to do that, but you say that they wouldn't, and I don't think you're wrong, by the way.
Yeah.
This isn't one of my trying to set Fred up into a trap things that I like to do. I think you're right. I don't think they would give $40 million to one of these guys.
Right.
But that's what they cost.
I know.
If Alex's plan is to come to fruition,
right,
they have to pay for it.
I
Like
know.
even Baker Mayfield's going to make some decent money.
Because
And that's why I
Baker
wish-
Mayfield doesn't want to be a bridge quarterback.
Yeah,
You know?
that's why I wish we would just spend the money. It feels like the most efficient way to target like those 3 major needs you have. I don't know, especially with how deep the guards are. That not that I know, obviously, but what everyone says.
And I really, really like Marvin Harrison. Before this gets like, Paul's
No,
down,
no.
Paul's down on
You
Harrison.
already slandered him. You slandered him.
But think
I
about,
just don't want him without a quarterback.
Think about
That's
our
all.
discussion, right?
Yeah.
Imagine what is happening right now down in the Patriots personnel and scouting room.
100%. And someone's got to decide.
Holy crap.
Well, I'd like to think there's
Who's gonna
someone that
break the
actually
tie?
knows talent and evaluates these things, not like Paul, who
No.
kind of likes Jaden Daniels but is worried about his passing, but really likes Drake. I'd like to think someone that's actually a professional at this
But even
has a little bit more of an
even
idea.
the pros, like I'm not talking about guys on football staffs, but the Jeremiahs and all.
Yeah.
There's no consensus there about Drake May or
Well,
Jaden Daniels.
I'll tell you the consensus. It's Williams, May, Daniels.
Yeah.
That's the consensus.
That's the consensus. But the reality
But
is that
then
one or two of these guys might work out and be a star. Like one
Right.
or two.
Absolutely.
That might.
Absolutely. Just like there's going to be 5 wide receivers taken, and 1 or 2 of them are going to be really good.
I like neighbors. Like I don't want to like.
Me too.
I don't want to.
And I like Adunze.
I don't want to sit there to pound
what's
the
his
table. Adunze? Yeah.
Adunze.
Yeah, Rome Adunze.
I always pronounce that
I
wrong.
finally got it. But neighbors. It's like nothing against Marvin Harrison, but like he's super good too.
I think all 3. There are going to be really good receivers taken. It just happens every year. There's a lot of good receivers.
Yeah.
But you're not going to get a chance to take going down the list to get. You can get a tackle. You can get a wide receiver. You're not like the whole Michael Penix in the 2nd round thing doesn't excite me.
Well, no, and I'll go back to what I said at the top of the show. If they like Jaden Daniels,
Take him.
They have to take him.
Yeah, if Arthur is right,
Yeah.
you got to
For
take
sure.
him.
They have to take
for
him.
sure.
And then you can be wishy
Yep.
and not washy.
Tony's in Canada. What's up, Tony?
I really did like that line. That was a
I'm
good
wishy.
line.
As I wish for him.
Tony.
Hi, guys.
Hi,
Tony.
Yeah, it's certainly an interesting conversation about receivers. I called in about the coaching staff, but wouldn't it be something if we drafted Harrison and also Jerry Rice's kid is in? So can you imagine our receiving room with names like Harrison and Rice in it?
That'd be the most
anyway,
Patriots thing ever.
There's been a lot of news lately on the media about how the Patriots are having trouble building up finding an OC, offensive coordinator, because I've been hearing that New England's not really an attractive place to come to. It's a challenge for someone maybe to take that position and finding someone to run McVay's offense or something like that. But something that struck me as being kind of odd, as far as I know, and correct me if I'm mistaken, there's no limit as far as cap spending for your coaching staff. And if Kraft really wants to fix things around, and it's easy for me to say if I was Kraft, I'm not spending my own money, but if there's no limit in terms of how much you can spend to build a staff, even if it wasn't that attractive of a position, why couldn't you just basically offer something over and above, double whatever?
Yeah, you could.
The paying rate is, and
That's what they
build
did
a
with Josh
staff.
McDaniels to keep
Or
him.
is it maybe really not that big of a deal? I don't know.
Yeah.
That's my idea, and I'll listen, guys. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Tony. I hope they do that with offensive line coach. Get the best one.
Oh, you think Clem's going?
I don't know. Where is he?
Where is he?
Yeah.
Oh, I think he's.
You think he's
I
staying?
think he's staying.
Really?
I think the guys that are under contract are staying.
Yeah. Just real quick, Diana Rossini reported that Bill was considered for Washington. They spoke, but he had some supporters, but that they went with Dan Quinn. Diana
I
Rossini.
highly question that report.
Why?
Highly.
Why do you question it?
Because it runs extremely counter to something somebody told me.
Oh, okay. And that's somebody.
Unless this
somebody
was,
is Josh Harris.
Someone who spoke directly to Josh Harris.
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
Unless there was like a.
He travels in circles.
He would never realize it.
He has little birds everywhere.
Yeah. Some of these straw men, man.
Just because,
like,
just because you're not allowed to actually report on things when you work for the team doesn't mean that you don't try to.
Still beating the bushes.
Know stuff.
You gotta find.
Anyway, there is always a possibility that when Ben Johnson left Washington at the altar early in the week, there was my opinion, if that's true, and let's face it, few national reporters have had more misinformation out there than that particular one.
Yep.
If that's true, my guess would be that Bill's camp reached out to Washington after the news of the Ben Johnson thing, and that's the talk. Do you know? You know what I'm saying?
They started it. Yeah.
They started it. I like that, Mike. I don't. From what I was told, I don't think there was a lot of interest in a 72-year-old coach. They want to start over
in Washington.
Now, I don't think Dan Quinn is all that young either. So,
he wears the hat backwards though, makes him look like
how old is Dan Quinn? So maybe they did. Maybe they had a change of course when Ben Johnson stiffed him.
See, so Ben Johnson, right?
Right. I mean, it was like he was at like someone's like dance recital. Oh, he's only 53.
Oh, that's really.
Maybe
old.
he was at a dance recital and didn't properly acknowledge someone's niece.
Trenton is from Holston. Is that right? Trenton Holston?
Yes.
Okay. Where's Holston?
It's right next to Cambridge. It's right next to the Arbach Center.
Oh, okay. Huh. Never heard of Holston.
Yeah, but first-time caller, long-time listener. You guys are great. I think I'm going to throw you guys what I think is a curveball, but my question is, since the UFL is coming up, starts in March, ends in June, I know Patriots, I don't know if Gerard will have the same mindset, but Patriots are good at finding talent that maybe other teams look past, and I know the UFL will be full of players that couldn't make a NFL team or undrafted players that just maybe didn't have what it took. Do you think it'll be a viable source of assessing talent?
I think you're going to see guys come out of that. Not a lot, but,
You'll get guys. You won't get any impact.
2 or 3 a year.
You won't get any impact players. But you'll get some guys that end up being the 53rd man on a roster and playing special teams and back up.
But here's the thing, Trenton.
Back up defensive linemen.
When you say, the Patriots are good at finding guys that, they used to be. Like, no matter it is the Patriots are, fill in the blank, you have to start over now. We don't know what the Patriots are good at right now.
Were they any different at it than everybody else?
No,
really?
but they did have success,
the
guys.
Patriots had a lot of success doing a lot of things.
Undrafted guys and things like that. But
right like
now,
everybody else.
Right now, they're starting over with all of that.
To me, that's so down the bottom of the rung. Like,
Thanks,
it's
Trenton.
Just they need talent. They need guys who move the needle and finding that needle in the haystack who can come in and be like a solid.
I know
you can get a Jeremiah Farms.
Yeah,
I know.
You're not going to get Christian Barmore out of the UFL.
No. I know I will not be watching.
I probably will because I'm a degenerate, but it's just the way it is.
What about? Can I just throw out Calvin Ridley's name because we haven't really talked about free agency much at all, and I feel
I would
like
take Calvin Ridley in a blink.
He's a really good player that is going to hit free agency. I mean, they've got money to spend. It's I don't need to spread it all around. Get a guy like Calvin Ridley instead of Kendrick Bourne. Plug him into that spot.
But do you think Calvin Ridley would be interested in signing with the Patriots?
I don't know. Maybe even interested in some money. We got the money.
Well,
I'd try.
But the money's probably going to be
to get Jaden Daniels.
Pretty equal.
I try. No, I mean it's a fair point. But I'm saying. That's the kind of guy I would.
The problem
be
is you don't have Jaden Daniels.
Why not?
Not yet, at
least. Because the draft isn't until May.
Hey,
don't worry. We got you. We're gonna. It's not just gonna be Mac.
We're gonna
Jones. No, I don't know. I just don't. I mean, it's we jump right into the draft, and there's and there's just so many things that could happen in free agency, and guys like that I feel like of course he might say, look, I'm going to go somewhere with a quarterback who's established, and
I don't know, maybe Kansas City.
Yeah, sure. I mean, possible, but at the same time, those are the kind of moves that they have to be trying to make. Those are the stuff that's going to move the needle. And then
I agree.
You can't sign a bunch of middle class guys again. You need some talent. You need people that are going to get fans excited here and
what about
put
Pittman?
butts in them.
I thought about Pittman. Yeah, I mean, I'm not against him either.
Yeah, no, I like Ridley better.
Yeah.
Like Higgins is at the top, but like Ridley, I think
I did some
would
digging
be,
on
would
Pittman
be better,
too.
but
I had him on my short list.
Pittman's numbers were better than I thought they were, so I think maybe he's going to end up being more
Yeah.
expensive than I thought.
Curtis Samuel's the other one I kind of liked.
Yeah, I like him, but I
Yeah.
mean that's the kind of guys that I think
down
you're
a
gonna,
level,
Right.
down a level.
He's
But
been talked about like a couple years ago coming here, or Patriots interested in him.
yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of things that they can do. Like,
Where's the food, Matt? You don't know? Okay.
What, did you guys go to a new place today or something?
Pizza time.
Yeah, I've
Never
never
heard
heard
of
of
it?
it. No, you got to stay on the regulars. Don't go to the beaten path.
Andre's in Tennessee.
I heard good
What's
things.
up? Oh,
No, he's
Andre,
not.
he couldn't hang on.
Andre,
Good job, Hardy.
Yeah.
I've heard good things about this place.
All right, well,
though.
we'll see, Paul. Clearly, I already screwed up the order, so I don't know.
Let's see. A lot of emails coming in. Web
Ridley.
radio
I
at
would take Ridley,
Patriots.com.
Mike.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be a high price.
Sure.
Jack writes in, I'm curious as to what Paul's ideal first pick for us would be. Getting Caleb Williams seems unrealistic.
I'm wishy-washy.
But
don't
what
you-
would
don't you
be
know?
his
so
best,
washy.
best case scenario if the cards fell into place? Sometimes it feels like he doesn't want anyone.
No, I like Williams and May. I would take either one of those. And I would take Daniels. I could be definitely Arthur did a good job of like sort of
Rattling
selling
your
me
cage.
on Daniels.
Really, I never would have known.
I personally think he needs work as a passer, but I didn't disagree with anything you said about him as a runner. And I think if you come into the league with an elite skill set, you can kind of learn the rest. Like
Yeah.
Good call.
that's why I'm wishy-washy.
I
Like
know.
I could be talked into it.
It just bummed me.
But I like all three of them. I do.
Yeah, I mean, it bumped
Who's
me.
a better runner coming out of college, Michael Vick or
Oh, no
Jaden
one,
Daniels?
no one was Michael
Mike
Vick.
Vick.
Yeah.
Nobody
Right.
was Michael Vick.
Okay. Nate in northeastern Pennsylvania. I'm pretty sure the news dropped between shows, so I'm not positive you guys discussed. What are everyone's feelings on the Booty arrest?
Oh, we didn't talk about
was
the
last
Booty
week,
arrest.
Right, but I don't think we
Yeah.
did talk about it.
We didn't
No,
talk
we
about
didn't.
I don't think
Good
so.
job,
I
Fred.
think it broke right after the
I think
show
so.
on Thursday.
I think so.
Good
Like,
job steering the ship.
Like what Paul's been talking about, like his login was like Kayshawn Booty.
Kayshawn Booty
01,
001 and Kayshawn Booty 007.
08, 07.
Yeah.
You got to get rid of
That's
him.
the thing, though.
I
He
mean,
would
Was
make-
that all NIL money that he was using?
Oh God, I don't know what money he was using, but he was betting on himself.
The
I
thing
mean,
is,
like,
he
it's
was
like
making
8,000.
fake
Yeah.
names, like the names would be fake, but then the username would be like just keep it
Right.
going.
So it says it's like John Smith, but it says at Kayshawn Booty.
Yeah,
Like,
over almost 9,000 bets he placed, including some on his own team.
His own props.
himself.
I agree with
His own prop bets.
I agree with Mike.
You
He's got to go.
You got to go. I'm kind of surprised. I mean, I guess they're in the off season. They're going to just let it kind of linger for a little bit before they have to make a decision. But
I think you're going to see that happening more.
yeah, what do you mean? Just not
Guys getting more rope.
They stuck by Jack.
Mike writes in, he says, trade down is a must. The
Ooh,
draft is
ooh.
loaded, and they only have 7 picks. They need
Oh.
talent and players.
The draft is not loaded.
No,
I think they're
I mean,
strong
it's
at the
loaded with
positions.
players.
Yeah, and so just as a point of comparison, and Mike and I talked about this a little off here. People are talking about this draft that there's only about 4 or 5 rounds of players. There are so much fewer underclassmen that because of the NIL, because of COVID, the last remnants of COVID, that there was a lot of guys. I think they only had like 30 players declare as underclassmen. There's usually over 100. So I think your boy Jim Nagy at the Senior Bowl
It's my boy.
opined that day 3 picks are going to be undrafted free agents of the past. This draft is not loaded.
Wow.
Now, it is strong at the positions that you need. Quarterback, wide receiver, tackle. They're supposed to be, all 3 of those spots are supposed to be deep.
Yep.
Jared in Vermont, I feel like I'm going crazy. I have zero interest in drafting a quarterback in the first round. No matter who you pick, it's doomed on this team. How many crappy teams have to draft the shiny object just for it to blow up a year or 2 later before people learn? Trade down, trade Judon, stockpile picks so that you can pick up quarterback.
Eventually, hopefully.
Well, that's my argument that I have with Felger. It's like, make a trade with someone who you think is going to be bad. I go, why? So you can be in the top, picking in the top 3 again next year so you can trade it because you won't pick
Yeah.
You won't pick the talent because you don't believe in talent. Like, I just don't understand the notion of quarterbacks bust, so don't take one. Well, somewhere along the line,
You have to get a quarterback.
teams that are good that drafted their quarterbacks high. I mean, I'm sure that these are the same people that have said there's no way ever Kansas City should be moving up 20 spots in the first round to take Patrick Mahomes.
Mm-hmm.
Or Buffalo should be moving up, from the bottom of the first round to the number 7 to take Josh Allen. But how do you do it if you don't make that kind of a move?
And it's Fred's thing. It's conviction. Like, if you
Cincinnati
believe
was
that's the guy,
dumb, right, for taking Joe Burrow number 1 overall. Those number 1 picks never work until they do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I get it. Like, it's a risk.
Yeah.
And quarterback is a bigger risk than all the other spots. But you can't go into a pick and saying, I'm not going to take it because I'm going to blow it anyway.
Hire good coaches, spend money in your evaluations, and trust the information that you get.
And how many of these guys, like, do you think Baker Mayfield's any good, Fred?
Yes.
You do, right?
Yep.
So
let Baker bake.
He's taken with the number 1 overall pick. I don't think he's as good as you do.
I don't think he's that good.
No,
but
but
he's
I'm
good.
just saying.
Yeah.
You think he's pretty good.
Yeah.
Now, everybody else like, see, you can't take Baker Mayfield. Well, no, if you did it right, he'd probably be better for you, right? If you didn't have 4 offensive coordinators in his first 4 seasons in Cleveland, maybe he wouldn't have been a mess by the time he left the Browns.
Yeah.
Matthew Stafford. Don't tell me Matthew Stafford wasn't deserving talent-wise of the number 1 overall pick. He's been a really good player for a long time. The fact that the Lions couldn't figure it out with him is on the Lions. He looks pretty good now.
Yeah.
Great.
Rob in San Diego via Connecticut. Watching the games last week, something stood out to me. Many people are talking about coaching and discipline, but what about playmakers? Yes, the Lions and Ravens have many self-inflicted wounds, but I also saw Kelsey and McCaffrey have game-changing style plays. I bring this up because of the drumbeat for building inside out in New England. I don't know which way is best, but it seemed to me that self-inflicted wounds aside, the teams with the playmakers are the teams that advanced. I understand that this might be a multi-year view of team building, but boy, with the internal hires, inexperienced coaches, and prospects of linemen high in the draft, it seems like some Red Sox vibes.
Ooh, that's bad.
I think it's both. I think there was plenty of playmakers on all 4 teams last week. I mean, Jamison Williams looked like a pretty dynamic playmaker to me.
Yeah, nice touchdown.
He touched the ball 3 times. It was in the end zone twice. But Josh Reynolds dropped passes and they lost. McCaffrey was great. Kelsey was great. Zay Flowers made all kinds of plays and also did some really stupid things. But he didn't make any plays in that game. The bomb that he caught for a touchdown off the scramble drill.
He was also one of the reasons they were still in the game.
There was a lot of playmaking done in those games by the teams that lost.
Yeah. Gibbs. I mean, Gibbs was. Remember last year when they picked Gibbs? What? But same thing. It's just
he made a play and then he fumbled.
He's a good player.
He's a really good player. That's my point. I think that's what Mike is trying to say.
But it's just I think there's no one way to do anything, and it's that pick got some controversy, but he was he's developing into a stud to what they need, and that's why it's like you can throw all these comparisons of everything,
and that's why I say just. If it's Marvin Harrison, if Alex's plan comes to fruition, that I'd be fine with that because if he's a really if he's a really good player, that's got to be your only goal, Fred.
Yeah.
I got to come out of this draft. If I pick somebody at 3, he needs to be a really good player.
Right.
And Mike is right. There's a million different ways you can structure your team and get the pieces first, last, second, whatever. But if you don't hit, like Jahmyr Gibbs is a good player. Now, I would have taken something else. Still would take something else. But he hit. So the Lions aren't going to look at that and say, man, we had that opportunity. We blew it.
Yeah.
Jack Campbell, I think a little differently about that first-round pick.
Yeah.
I don't think he's a hit.
Well, the thing that I can't get away from is just that if you really, truly looked at the board at 3 of what they should take, emotions aside, it's probably Marvin Harrison. I mean, he's probably the second best player in this draft. And it's hard to, no matter how much you want to say they need to protect the quarterback, it's like he is the best player available when they're going to probably be picking. And you have to at least consider that, maybe somebody like that gives you a little bit more juice to bring a quarterback in or something like that. And I know you're doing it in the draft, or fans too.
So it's
if that's the rationale, if that's what they came away with, I think I would be on board with that. If they said we had our choice between Drake May, Jalen Daniels, and Marvin Harrison and Joe Alt or whoever else, and we thought by a significant margin Marvin Harrison Jr. was the best player, I don't know how anybody argues with that.
Right. Throw the rest out. Throw out, what do you need? And Calvin with Calvin Johnson, like all the things of the past that have not worked out, and it's
again. I would say
put it aside.
I would say my same argument against those that I just used for the quarterback. Just because it didn't work doesn't mean it's never going to work.
For years, the Patriots were drafting linebackers until they got Rob Gronkowski.
I mean,
but you don't stop doing it because Dan Graham wasn't worth a first-round pick or Ben Watson wasn't worth a first-round pick.
Well, it's just it's hard for me even to sit here and be like, well, that's not how teams are built. Like, you have to get a tackle. Like, it's one in the trenches, and that's I got to protect the quarterback, and it would be easy to kind of go that route.
It's a good case study, like San Francisco with all those draft picks.
Yeah. Tyler in New York City. Hello, Alex and others. We're now others.
And the rest.
I want the Patriots.
Now
to
I know what you feel like.
I want the Patriots to draft Marvin Harrison. Will it be smarter move getting a quarterback? Maybe. But I've watched decades of Patriots football with a really good quarterback, but I've watched almost no Patriots football starring a true number one receiver. Randy Moss, but no, I get it. Marvin Harrison Jr. will be fun to watch. He's going to do things in a Patriots uniform that we haven't seen before. Sure, those things might happen on a 6-11 team as we're rebuilding, but I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Is he going to be fine with it? I view the NFL and the Patriots as a form of entertainment. When Brady was on the team, my entertainment was maximized by competing for Super Bowls every year. Without that aspect of this entertainment being available to Patriots fans these days, I have to look elsewhere. And where better to look than the best wide receiver prospect of the last several drafts? Patriots football has not been fun to watch for several years. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. can make it fun.
I'm open. That's
an interesting argument, though.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
Like, we could be 6-11, but at least we'll be entertaining. Like,
let's see. Allison in Chicago. Trade a second-round pick for Fields, draft Harrison, or another star receiver, and draft O-line. Fields is likely better than the quarterbacks in this draft other than Caleb Williams. Also, as to being the world's original podcast, I will say you were my first podcast. I found you in 2010 and have been listening ever since, other than a few episodes after Malcolm Butler was benched in the Super Bowl because I was so angry with the Patriots and I needed a break. Thanks so much for keeping us engaged all year long in the Patriots and other topics. You're welcome, Allison.
Yeah.
So, there you go.
This is going to be I usually love the off-season shows. These aren't going to be
It's being a grind.
It's going to be a grind between Caleb Williams, Drake May, Jalen Daniels, and Marvin Harrison Jr.
Do you think
Paul's going to like this email?
Probably not.
Do you feel like Marvin Harrison Sr. was kind of soft, though?
Oh, God, no. He was great.
No? Oh, really?
Yeah, he was great.
Like, I don't know. I guess I'm just thinking of the games here where it was like they just destroyed him and he just was nowhere to be found.
He was doing then what a lot of the smaller quarterbacks do now is they get down. They don't take the hit.
Yeah.
And people said, oh, he doesn't go for the extra yards, when contact comes. But he was smart.
Yeah.
Like,
he was great.
It was like Eugene Wilson, like spearing him with like a missile, like with his helmet.
That was
like
I know exactly. I know exactly the play you're talking about.
He would have been out of the league.
No,
for that
he was very good.
Yeah.
And am I incorrect? Like, he was fast, but he wasn't like a blazer. He was just a really good route runner, smart.
I don't remember thinking of him as like a Tyreek Hill.
Right.
No.
Right.
But he was great.
Kind
Him and Reggie Wayne were
kind of the same guys, right? I mean, just similar in the mold, smart.
Yeah.
Run good.
They were both great receivers.
And they were in tune with Peyton Manning, and I'm sure.
But I do wonder like how much Manning
made them better.
Was involved because
Absolutely.
Then they lost them, and he was the same with Pete the waiter in Austin College.
Right.
Pete the waiter.
Sonny's
car wash.
Pete Garcon.
Did you see that?
That's Pierre Garcon, in case you were wondering who Pete the waiter is.
Christian writes in, I know you guys said
Copyright
that you are...
Fred.
That's good.
What's that?
Pete the waiter. Yeah. That was your line.
I know.
Just giving you credit.
I know you guys said that you are wishy-washy with some quarterbacks. I've been watching the full games and breaking down film with some of my college teammates.
You and Evan?
When we played, and I think the quarterback order goes like this. Who do you think he has number one?
Caleb Williams.
Nope. Number one, Daniels. He says he's a top 3 talent.
Okay.
Number 2 is Caleb, top 3 talent. And number 3 is May, a 5 to 10 pick talent.
Wow. All right. So he's down on Marv Jr.
Not saying my opinion is right, but if I was you guys, I would watch the full games of guys and think you might see that Drake May is being overhyped. Watching individual plays doesn't necessarily show what actually happened in the game. He's right there.
See, but from what I've watched of May, though, I have a little bit of intrigue, like what we talked about with Marvin Harrison, that it like he's kind of interesting and fun to watch, and it's not always great, but I mean, I'm watching him throw left-handed passes, and he's athletic, he's got a big arm, so I mean, I see some kind of entertainment factor from him too.
And to me, it's not about necessarily breaking down the games, like it's the skill set and what they bring and how they play, like. If you go to North Carolina 2 years ago and watch Drake May, it looks a lot different than it did last year.
Yeah.
A lot different. He was much better 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
James Pettigrew, the most interesting Patriots fan in the world, writes in. He says, draft a quarterback. If he sucks, take a quarterback with our high first pick the next year. Repeat until you have a franchise quarterback.
That's where I land. Like if you miss, just take one the next year.
Do it again. Keep rolling it.
Let's see. Mike in Charlotte, if the Patriots draft a quarterback at 3, they need to spend the next 2 picks on O-line. You can have all the weapons in the world, but if the quarterback is on his back, maybe you can find some serviceable receivers in free agency to get by for this year and focus on wide receiver in next year's draft.
I mean, I don't need to overdo it at tackle. Like, I mean, I would like to get a couple, but I mean, to me, what kind of makes the most sense would be to take the quarterback, to take the next best tackle, because there'll be another good tackle left in the second round, and then in the third round hit one of these receivers. Just that, like, to me, late second round, third round, that's where you do the same thing with the quarterback. Every year, let's just continue to take a couple guys. You look at Green Bay, you look at what they've done in Detroit, like these teams that have just continued to throw mid-round selections at wide receiver, at tight end, at running back, the weapon spots, without over-investing too much of the high-end draft capital. And you'll get a bunch of them, and then I don't know. There's just, and I don't want this to become like we want to have a bunch of 2s and 3s, but like I see appeal to not being a team with we have one superstar stud receiver on the outside, and then it's kind of meh. Like I personally just, if you're constructing
that strong
a
middle
team,
class,
well, I'd like to have where you got a bunch of different kind of weapons that everybody's pretty good.
I'll take the star, but I need the other guys too. With Mike, I would take, I don't think anybody would argue if you ended up with like Watson, Reed, and Dobbs and Wicks.
Yeah.
Like these are all like day 2 and day 3 picks.
Yep.
Like I don't think anybody would say like, well, you know what they really need? They need a star. No, they're all pretty good players.
Yeah, and
and it works.
And Watson has the body type that he's not there yet.
I think he can be the star.
He looked like it at times
if he ever stays healthy
in training camp, this year. But yeah, I mean,
but
when
you
saw
need
them
guys.
He was also basically a first round. He was like the 33rd or 34th pick.
But whether it's on offense or defense, in some positions you need guys that they're just better than the other guys on the other team.
Yeah.
You need some of those. Like everybody can't be better than everybody.
What do we think of the interior of the offensive line?
I'm putting it
line.
out of my mind right now.
No, for the do you think that they'd be all right with
Strange,
Andrews, so with Mafi and Jake Andrews?
Yeah,
that core of 5.
Who is my offensive line coach?
Yeah,
Adrian Clem. But what do you think of those 5 guys? So in other words, if you could get a tackle, if you could get Joe Alt, and he hits, is your offensive line okay?
It's better. Yeah.
Ish.
It could be.
I mean,
I think you'd be fine.
I mean, I think it's fine.
I think the problems with the offensive line are greatly exacerbated by the lack of weapons on offense.
Yeah.
I think the offensive line takes all the heat. They weren't good. Not saying that they were. They weren't good. I don't think we're eating, Fred.
Yeah, that's
pizza time.
Oh man, that's
apparently pizza time never arrived.
Pizza not on
That's
time.
poor to me.
Pizza time.
That's poor to me.
Pizza time warp.
Not find the delivery driver.
Well, we got plenty of calls and emails, so it's not like we have nothing to do. Andre's in Tennessee. You were off the line last time. You there now?
Yeah, I'm here.
Nice.
There he is.
We got a call back.
Hey, so I have a question. So there's a quarterback that no one is talking about that was one of the top quarterbacks in the NCAA this year, Jordan Travis.
Yep.
How do y'all feel about drafting Marvin Harrison at number 3, and then some late round pick, go get Jordan Travis, let him heal up, and let him be our quarterback for next year, and we're the bridge quarterback this year.
Now,
I could be
educate me on this guy.
Florida State. Tore his ACL.
Oh,
He's the
right,
reason why
right,
Florida
right,
State
right.
didn't make the playoffs.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Correct.
Good.
Correct.
I like him. I think he's a little small, but he's a good player. I wouldn't be opposed to taking a day 3 pick.
I wouldn't. I mean, you got to draft a quarterback no matter what, whether it's 3 overall. I mean, I'd be down for anybody. Down for anybody. I mean, there's certainly guys I don't like.
What was his injury?
ACL.
Well,
Yeah, the ACL injury.
it's not a big
But he's
deal
short
anymore.
though, isn't he? Like 6
He's
feet
small.
tall. Yeah.
He's small. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a good player.
Kyler Murray's strong too. Short.
He sure
Yeah.
is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Do you want him?
plays- but he
You
plays
could probably
big.
get
He
him.
plays big.
I don't know. Well, I guess because we're flirting with Jaden Daniels and Drake May. It's like guys just that they have they have tangible things that are like not going to change. You know, it's like with Mac, you knew he was always going to not have that elite skill set, and it's like at least you got something to work with. Those
I just
high-end
worry
guys,
That's
that-
why
you
I
know?
think Arthur was convincing
Yeah.
me.
I
on
just
Jaden
worry
Daniels.
that people, and not just here in New England, but people are so starved for the next quarterback that we overrate these guys.
Yeah, no, it's a huge thought of mine, Fred. And I think it's just like NFL teams too. I think the whole league does that. You know, it's like we talked. You get to the point and you need a quarterback, and this is the guy that's sitting there, and that's where he's supposed to go. And you feel great about him? Not really, but
You got to hope you
gotta
hit
take a
it in
chance.
one of those years where the guys
Andre has
pan
no
out.
time. Yeah. Let's go to Sean in Vancouver. Hey, Sean. Lots of Canadians.
Hey, everyone.
Today. Hey.
Mike, I agree with you about the free agents. We should talk about that. But I think first, you got to bring back some of your own players before you sign others. And the two that are at the top of the Patriots list players I'd want them to bring back is Owenu and Henry. And then there's some others that if they can get them at good money. And in terms of Calvin Ridley, I think he will be the top target because I see Higgins and Pittman going back to their respective teams, to the Bengals and the Colts this year. So I think he'll be the top free agent prize. And in terms of the draft, any of those 3 quarterbacks, I think it would be fine. It's just if you do get Daniels, you don't want to try and force him to be a pocket passer because then you're trying to fit a square peg in a round hole or vice versa.
I agree with that.
He's not going to be that.
I agree with that. You have to let him try to play like his style, like they let Lamar play.
Yeah.
They don't force
Yeah, you
Lamar
got-
to play
and
from the pocket all the time.
He's got the limp wrist.
Yeah, we're gonna have some
Lamar
some years
Latrell.
We're gonna struggle as well, so we got to be patient because
I don't know if
it's
you
not
can do
going to
that
happen right away.
anymore.
Yep. All right. Thanks, Sean.
I agree with Sean. No, I don't think you can't just try to say like we're going to run the old Patriots offense with Tom Brady and have him be in the pocket all the time. No, that's
the
a waste.
offense should be burned to the ground regardless.
Yeah.
Like,
Wow, it's coming in hot.
I
Burning.
mean,
Violence.
you're-
Fire.
No,
Fire.
literally. I'm
Fire.
not
Talking
trying
about
to
burning people
torch
up.
these guys. I like them, but
You don't-
figuratively speaking,
You don't have a greyhound as a pet unless you have a big backyard.
Oh yeah.
Let him run.
Oh,
Let him run.
Those are weird looking dogs. They're giant, like sleek.
Well, there's a lot of people who adopt them.
My sister-in-law had an adopted greyhound
Yeah.
before she married my brother.
They're great dogs.
He was cool.
Yeah, they retire
He was
from
cool.
the racetrack
You and I are
get
similar
adopted.
dog guys.
I do not like dogs.
No, I don't like dogs either.
I didn't
like
get too
dogs?
close. Dogs bite.
Dogs bite you?
Yeah, I've been bitten.
I'm a little afraid.
My sister got bit in the face when she was little.
What's the saying? I don't trust a person that doesn't like a dog, but
Yeah.
I trust a dog.
And
that
I don't
doesn't
trust
like a
people that
person.
treat animals like they're humans.
I've been punched. I've been punched, but I don't hate all humans.
Yeah, but you can talk to humans.
You kind of
You
do.
kind of see it coming with humans.
That's
Usually.
kind of not true.
You know? No, you
Dogs
gotta
are-
love
dogs can
dogs,
be
Paul.
wild cars. I like them from afar. I would just agree with the point on Hunter Henry. I would definitely re-sign Hunter Henry. There's just nothing out there at tight end. There's not a great tight end class. There's just nothing out there. I think that he's limited. I've always thought he can't really block at a plus level, but he can play. He's a tight end that can play in this league. I would
re-sign somebody.
I would make an effort
And
to
he's a
re-sign him.
captain. He's a leader.
You
like,
can't
you're
just
gonna
let
need
everybody
that.
go.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Is your family pressuring you to get a dog?
Not anymore.
You're off the hook.
Fred, I've been parrying for so long that I'm ahead of the game. We get it to a point where like no one's mentioned it for like a couple months.
Yeah, see, that's why he doesn't like dogs. He doesn't want to have one because he knows.
Wait till the kids are on summer vacation and they're bored.
That's usually when it comes about. But I don't know. I don't need another thing in my life to take care of and to like walk.
At least you're honest about it and realistic,
know,
because the worst is when someone gets a dog and they're just not at all prepared to have a dog.
Yeah, I mean, they're cute and I'd love to have a puppy, and I'm sure I would be. We're best friends, but right now I'm just like I like my life.
No,
my kids are older. I don't have to change diapers anymore.
Yeah, right.
I'm off of the I got to get up and walk the dog. I don't need that in my life.
That is why I would never have a dog, and it drives me crazy when I'm out a lot with my brother-in-law and sister-in-law.
They have to go home.
They always have to leave early. They always go, we got to go, the dog. 4th of July, the dog, the fireworks, the dog is freaking out. Like, it's like having another baby.
It is.
And there's a responsibility with that I kind of saying I don't want that responsibility.
Right, no, and that's fair.
And it doesn't make you like a selfish
But
person.
you don't not like dogs.
No, I mean generally, but I am a little bit like Paul in that you don't know what they're thinking.
Yeah, to me, it's not necessarily.
I'm not going to go stick my face
Who
up
are
in
these
this
dogs
dog's
that you've been
face.
hanging out with?
To me, it's not necessarily.
It's
Probably like a toy poodle, little cute
actually,
dog.
actually,
there was a
poodles are
ferocious poodle
will
in-
bite more than
right behind me.
Not poodles, yes, but like a Maltese-poo or something. They're
A
so
Maltese
sweet,
poo.
like a Maltese
Sounds like
or like a Lhasa.
I could say a
Apso.
really bad joke there.
Congratulations for refraining.
Yeah,
but he's just going to
We
tell you
haven't
what he
eaten
was
yet.
going to say.
When I lived in LA, one of our friends, like everybody has to adopt a dog, and one of our friends, Jamie, she's like, I adopted this dog. His name is Stewie. He named him after Family Guy. And the freaking dog was just like nipping everybody. Like, it was a rescue. And so it had trauma. And, anytime you got too near, it got too loud. All of a sudden, I was like, just come at you. This little like cross thing of a what do you call Chihuahua? They all have like poor Chihuahuas. Like they're just getting mated with everything left and right. Like, get the Chihuahua over here. Have that pump
Is that right?
Have that pump
It
a
is.
baby
It's
up.
like poodles and chihuahuas.
Something poos. Like
Yeah.
anything poo. Yeah, poor poodles too. Those things are just like, they get a freaking golden retriever, and the poor poodle's like,
That's what you need to get. The best dog in the world, golden retriever.
Well, we had one briefly when I was a kid.
Better than labs.
I've never owned
What's
a lab.
the difference between a lab and a golden
I
retriever?
think they're so
They're
similar
kind of the
in
same.
temperament.
Retrievers have
They
longer
really
hair.
are. Yeah.
But I had a black lab.
Yeah.
Best
My
dog.
neighbor had a black lab that I grew up with. He was great.
Just loved everybody. Just so
They're so good
friendly.
and happy. And
We had a
don't
golden
get into-
retriever puppy when I was a kid, and it's happened to coincide with me and my sisters all got chickenpox at the same time. So my mom
couldn't deal.
She's like, nope, that's it, and just like we bought the dog. It was like a whole thing. It was on Cape Cod actually, and nope.
Yeah,
they took Bridget.
We had a joke with our lab, like if a robber ever came in, she'd be, here's the silverware.
That's what we
Take
said
the
too.
flat screen,
Yeah.
help yourself.
That's what I say.
Refrigerator's right over
Brady
there.
would lick the robber to death.
Right.
He would lick him to death.
Yeah, it's
nice.
I would say it's more like what Mike is saying. I'm not a dog person, more so than like, Paul hates dogs. I'm not a big dog guy.
No, like when you go to a house and they go, we have a dog, and you're like, hello, and you let them sniff your hair,
Paul
and you're
would
like,
and I'm frightened out of my
Oh my
mind
God.
in that scenario.
Paul would
absolutely.
so be the type of guy that his family was on board. They got like a little dog that he was like,
my
what's that
nightmare.
stupid internet? But then at the end of the day, he's on the couch.
That's what
cuddled up
everybody
with the
says. You
dog
love
under
it.
his
So
arm.
that's 1,000% true.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with the stupid cat.
Yeah.
Who's the cat's buddy now?
Right.
Me.
Yeah.
At night when we're watching TV, the cat sits on my lap.
Right.
And I would have been the one like I don't like.
Yeah.
See,
I
but
don't wanna
cats
be
are so
pets.
much more unpredictable.
I think.
But we've gotten really lucky. Beth had a cat when I met her, and now this is our second cat, and they're both almost exactly the same. They're like little dogs, only they're not going to get to be these huge things that need to be like walked and all the work that goes through them. They're just companions.
Yeah.
And
All right.
again, at the same time, then it ends, and I can't deal with that emotionally because I'm a baby.
That's a hard thing.
Yeah.
It is. All right, we'll take a break. Paul's Food's here.
At 1:43.
Then we'll wrap it up because we're getting to the end, but we'll see.
Good stuff after the break, though.
Yeah,
Come back.
excellent
Stick
stuff.
around.
All right.
Isn't it time to get exactly what you want? Welcome to Red Hot Deal Days from Verizon, where you get your pick of our best deals. Like My Plan, where you can pick the perks you want and save on every one. For limited time, bring your own phones to a Verizon store and you can get my plan for our best price ever. Get exactly what you want in your phone plan and only pay for what you need. Bring your phones to your Verizon store today and get my plan. These deals won't last. It's your Verizon.
As I think back over the past few seasons, I wanted to thank my most trusted game day teammate, Tostitos. As I recall the last-minute grocery runs and late-night dishwashing, the salty defeats and spicy victories, I realized it was all thanks to my teammate, Tostitos. It was always you, Tostitos. Team up with Tostitos, the official chip and dip of the New England Patriots.
And we're back with another quick Thursday edition of the PU Halftime Show. I am joined by Alex, reoccurring guest, as always.
Gotta get used to me now.
Guys, there is no trivia today because I did this pretty last minute. So, you know what happens.
Yeah, Matisse came to my desk 5 minutes ago and was like, can you come down and record with me? And I was like, no, I'm kind of busy. And then he was like, please. So here we are.
We're like also running out of Patriots trivia, so I'll do a deep dive into that. But anyways, we're going to start off with a couple start bench cuts like we always do. So, Alex, start bench cut.
I haven't done one of these in a minute.
Christian McCaffrey, Isaiah Pacheco, and Jahmyr Gibbs. That's the only one from the NFC I have in from the NFC title game.
Start McCaffrey.
Yep. It's tough.
Start McCaffrey. Bench Pacheco. I guess cut Gibbs.
It's tough though.
Yeah. How are you doing?
I am starting my camp buddy, Christian McCaffrey. Good friends with him. Isaiah Pacheco. I'm benching him because he runs like a kid trying on his sneakers. And Gibbs. It's tough though because he's nasty. All right, number 2. We got some halftime performers from the past 3 years.
Oh, okay, yes.
All right, we got Usher, who's this year, hasn't gone yet.
Yep.
Rihanna and Dr. Dre.
Oh, I love the Dr. Dre one. That one was just. I'm surprised you didn't have the Shakira J-Lo one on this.
I just did 3.
Okay. Okay. Start Dr. Dre. I thought that was so fun, and then just everyone he brought out.
For the 90s
it was
kids.
so nostalgic.
Yep.
I have to bench Rihanna, which feels blasphemous.
Yeah, she was good too. And then you just don't know with Usher yet.
Usher, I'm sorry. I know Usher is an absolutely talented performer. I know he's going to shut it down. But I have a bias to Rihanna.
And we'll circle back on this in a week to see what happens. And then this one, which segues into our next topic, the Wags.
Yes.
Taylor Swift, Kristen Juszczyk. Is that her first name?
Juszczyk, yep, Kristen.
And Olivia Culpo.
The Wags of the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we're leaving some out. Sorry, Britt. But
yeah.
We're going to do the good
We thought
one.
you were going to be a mutual cut.
Okay, so now I could go about this a couple ways. Like from the perspective of like a player dating one of these women or just me?
You.
Okay. You guys know I'm a Swiftie. But I'm not a Swiftie. I'm not one of the crazy ones. Okay. I am going to start Taylor Swift because you have to.
Okay.
I'll have people picketing outside of this office if I don't.
The show gets canceled.
But also, like, I would be stupid not to. She's the only billionaire in this category as far as I know. Between Culpo and Kristen, this gets difficult for me because, I mean, Culpo used to date Amendola and she's a Rhode Island girl, but I don't know. There's like full disclosure. I think Olivia Culpo is one of the most beautiful human beings on the planet right now. However, something about her online presence is just really annoying. I think she's really annoying. I think Kristen just signed a licensing deal for merchandising with the NFL, and this isn't just like she's sketching up some stuff. Like she's sitting there sewing these outfits. She's so creative. She's so talented. She seems like a really smart lady with her good head on her shoulders. So as crazy as it sounds, I'm cutting Miss Universe. I'm cutting the former Miss Universe, Olivia Culpo, and I'm benching Kristen, starting Taylor Swift.
All right, you ready for this?
Yes.
Swifties, don't come at me. I'm starting Culpo.
No,
she's lived out a New England girl's dream.
She really has.
like I respect that hustle.
How many Super Bowls did she go to with Danny? 1 or 2?
I think 2.
do too.
And so
this is our third Super Bowl.
I'm benching Juszczyk.
Okay.
And I'm cutting Swift. And listen,
Okay.
I respect Swift.
I get it from a guy's perspective.
No, this is why I'm cutting Swift.
Okay, let's hear it.
Because she hasn't earned full WAG status to me yet. She's still new to the game. This is her first season.
That's true. But
Get
do
a
you think
couple
the other
seasons.
wags are jealous that she's just stolen the show, or do you think they're happy that she's helped like elevate them?
Probably helps if she
in their
takes one. If she
existence?
takes one picture with one of them,
I know.
it's over.
She like that. That's what's crazy is she kind of put Kristen. I don't want to say she put Kristen on the map.
She definitely
because
boosted her.
Kristen was making outfits for Simone Biles, for herself.
Yeah.
Like she already had notoriety, but when Taylor wore her puffer,
It blew up.
her custom puffer jacket, like basically sealed the deal for Kristen to sign that deal with the NFL.
I bet she
mean,
makes a special one again for the Super Bowl. Like,
Kristen, this is a message for Kristen and Kristen only. Congratulations on your new line. I would love to help you in any way I can with any Patriots gear you have. I can just kind of stage an impromptu photo shoot with Tamara, myself, and our team photographers. I just have one request. Please make some clothing in your line, like jackets and stuff, but I can't be wearing players' numbers out there. So non-player,
Just the logo.
just the logo, because it's weird out if I'm out there in like, I don't know,
Judon.
like a Judon thing. So, yeah.
all right. So before we're getting told to wrap up, it's Super Bowl prop bet season. So I want to go through 4 quick Taylor Swift. Just tell me how ridiculous it is because we're getting told to wrap up. Number 1, how many times will she be shown on the camera?
Oh, what's the
over
over-under?
under is 1.5 times.
Over.
Okay, agreed. Second, will Swift and Kelsey appear together in a commercial?
I don't know if Taylor. I say no. I don't think Taylor's a big commercial girl.
I think no too. All right, and these are the last 2, and they're absurd. Will the couple announce their first pregnancy at the Super Bowl?
I mean, you'd probably only do this if you're a winning team.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of guys on these teams. Yeah, I say yeah.
And then the last one I'll do is, will they be shown kissing after the game? That's also a win or lose one.
Yes.
Yeah? Hard yes? All right. All right. We might have some more props next week. Alex, thank you for joining. And let's get back to the show.
When someone accidentally threw away the school play costumes,
Oh no.
replacements were shipped with FedEx. And with picture proof of delivery, everyone could focus on the perfect opening night. FedEx, where now meets next. For residential delivery only.
And now, great moments in history.
I believe they were not in pads, right? There's a lighter,
lighter
no
down.
pads, which you always ask every
Right,
Wednesday.
yeah.
And finally, the
Right.
answer changed, and you weren't here.
So, do you think they will not be in pads all week, or will they be in pads today?
I think they were in pads, but not like full pads yesterday.
okay.
I think it was light pads, but I have to double check on
That's
that.
even better because now
you
we
were
have
there.
media beef.
I know.
We
I
have
know.
media beef.
But now
I like that.
Now I'm doubting myself a little bit.
Yeah, well, we noticed too in the locker room, Mac had on one of the scuba hats, so it seemed like he's trying to get hot.
A lot of the
know.
players, that's true. I
Training
didn't
for
see, like,
Miami.
if you were here, you would have asked these questions and we would have told the listeners
Right.
about these things.
Mike,
I feel attacked.
yeah.
I asked him what the mood was. What else was I supposed to do?
Oh no, he did. He asked all the requisite questions. We were upset that you weren't here to hear the answers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. We would have gotten to this point. A
Mike
lot
did
of,
a good job.
A lot of the players were wearing like sweatshirts or layers underneath their practice outfits because of the heat.
Their tops.
They want to
Be hot.
be hot because of Miami.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yep.
Huh.
That's it. That's your recap of yesterday's practice.
I wonder if that translates, because when you're in Miami, the heat comes from the sun.
Right, outside. not
Rather than
internal
coming
heat.
internally. That's a different type of hot,
Yeah.
I think.
It's still hot though.
It's been sunny. It's been
Where's
a
the
nice
heat
week.
come from in other places?
That's another great moment from
Hey, are you counting down to the big game? Revamp your rec room for an epic watch party with sofas, recliners, entertainment centers, and coffee tables from Bob's. Visit any Bob's location to score big on storage-filled seating for your remotes, beverages, and game day snacks at everyday low prices that will make you say, "Oh my Bob." Make every Sunday a Super Sunday with Bob's Discount Furniture, the official furniture store of the New England Patriots.
And a Paul studio during the preseason.
Yeah.
right?
I think it's, oh my, Bob.
Oh,
Not
my.
Oh My Bob.
Oh my Bob.
Oh my Bob.
Oh my.
Oh,
like Dick
my
Enberg.
Bob.
Oh my. Bob.
Oh my Bob.
This is why we brought you.
Oh.
Okay, yeah. This is why we brought you guys back for the second half.
Right.
Right.
Oh my Bob.
Oh. Oh my Bob. Here we go.
Not good,
What
Bob.
what are we doing?
Yeah. Here we go.
All right, as you're getting reset there, Freddie, I'll just really quickly, I'll recap last week.
Oh, yeah.
For everybody, the divisional round. Across the board, everybody went 1-1, picking the actual game itself. With the spread, Evan went 2-0.
Right.
Everybody else went 1-1.
All right.
So, Freddie, dominant, has clinched the regular season, the postseason title, 10-2.
Oof.
Followed by Paul and Evan at 8-4, Mike at 7-5, and Alex 6-6.
How the turntables.
With the spread not clinched yet, Fred 8-4, followed by Paul and Evan at 7-5, and Mike and Alex at 4-8.
We're guaranteed to make money, though.
You have a 1-game lead over Evan and I.
Yep.
With the spread, but
Right.
you have clinched the
Okay.
picks.
So
Good Super Bowl to
So
pick,
we're not
though.
going to do our Super Bowl picks
We'll do
yet.
that next week.
Next
we would've-
Thursday.
we would've hurried.
Yeah, we got more information to be gleaned.
We can't.
Yeah.
Pizza Timer really screwed that up.
They really did. They
Yeah,
threw
they did.
the timing off. And my sandwich wasn't.
It's a free advertising.
Some
Get these-
emails that came in. Rich in New York City. My wife and I have a retired racing greyhound. We're on our second greyhound. They don't run around. They sleep all day and barely move when you take them for a walk. I highly recommend adopting one. So they're like, I've had it with running.
Yeah, that's weird. Don't
they're
you?
done.
You just
The
look
days
at
are
them and you're like,
behind
you
me.
wish you were sprinting right now, don't you, dog?
No,
Like, you know,
my
they don't.
running
they-
days are
no,
over.
So it did used to sprint like when you go to the park, and it would always sprint in an oval.
You mean like the park?
Yeah.
You mean like the park?
Yeah.
That park?
Glendale Park.
Glendale Park. Yeah.
Joel
I don't
from
know what
Hull.
park you're talking about.
Not like a regular park, like a.
Joel from Hull. I wonder if Ron says Fred not hating humans. I wonder if Ronald Robinson hates humans. Thanks for all the fun moments this season. I'm excited to see what the offseason bring. Okay, that's it. All right. Jack in Ann Arbor. The golden rule for how a football coach should use his players is if you've got a horse, ride him. Yeah.
I would agree with that.
Ben
But
from
don't break.
Manchester says Daniels because having watched Daniels' tape, I fully get the caution in him and why it may not translate to the NFL, where he doesn't have elite weapons. But what it would also give me is hope. He has the arm and the legs to score from literally anywhere on the field. The Patriots could be backed up in their own half, and I'd have hope that on any play he could rip it deep down the field or take off with his legs and beat everyone because he's that damn fast as a runner. And that to me would be exciting. Every single play something could happen. Not just can we hit the 8-yard dink to pick up a first down, which what I've mostly thought for the last 4 years, whoever's been quarterback. I can also see there's a chance he could benefit from a speedster to open the field like Thornton, if he could catch, or rekindle a relationship with Booty if he hadn't gambled his way into trouble. I get the caution on him, though. It's an enthralling offseason.
Yeah, I agree with that theory of the excitement that a guy like that will provide. Ultimately, his success will depend on whether or not he can hit the 8-yard dink pass on third down. Because Justin Fields gives you all of that.
Right, take the layups.
He can take he can take it the length of the field any play, but he doesn't do the 3rd and 8 completions often enough.
One more call. Trey's in Memphis. What's up, Trey?
Hey guys, how's it going?
All right,
Hey, Trey.
Okay, I was listening early on in the show, and you guys were talking about players you may want to move on from. I think you have to be careful with how this team is currently set up now with who you trade. And I don't think, you move a guy like Judon. I mean, he's 31 years old. He'll be 32 later on this year, and I think he still has some juice left. I mean, so as far as moving a player, I would, I'll say, Jonathan Jones. I mean, but, you move a guy like Judon, he's an alpha male. I don't think you want to do that. And as far as the franchise tag goes, I say you throw the tag on Henry. I don't think it's going to cost that much. And, that's pretty much going to sum up my call.
All right. Thanks, Trey.
Yeah,
Appreciate
that's
it.
a good call. That's a good call. Something to consider with Henry for sure.
Yeah.
I think that is expensive.
I'd
I'd rather see if I can work out a deal with him.
I do think
Judon's question is his contract, and did they take money last year from this year, put it into last year?
And it's
so
the
this
last
year's
year
light,
of his deal. So
and
like
he's going to
you're-
want more, and it's this. I mean, I would at least anticipate some kind of hold-in or contract negotiation of some sort if he is going to play here, and if not, then that could be impetus to move him too.
Yeah, and if he does play, I think we're sort of all in agreement. We don't think they're going to be a great team next year, even barring something unforeseen, like Jaden Daniels at 3 and he's C.J. Stroud.
Yeah.
Then what? Then you end up losing him for nothing.
Right.
He'll be a free agent.
Right. Yeah.
I think that's why you pick a guy like that. A, he can get something, and B, he's not part of your long-term plan.
All right. That's going to be it for this edition of Patriots Unfiltered.
Cutting it
Everybody
short
enjoy
again.
their football-free weekend, if that's possible. Excuse me. We'll be back on Tuesday. We'll be back on Tuesday to talk about probably an announced offensive coordinator. But we'll see. All right. See you then.
Thank you for downloading this podcast. Subscribe on Apple, Google Play, and everywhere else you listen. Like the show? Please rate and review us. Listener comments and ratings help keep us high in the podcast rankings so new listeners can find us. Be sure to check Patriots.com for more news and more podcasts.
The world's original podcast.
Isn't it time to get exactly what you want? Welcome to Red Hot Deal Days from Verizon, where you get your pick of our best deals. Like My Plan, where you can pick the perks you want and save on every one. For limited time, bring your own phones to a Verizon store and you can get My Plan for our best price ever. Get exactly what you want in your phone plan and only pay for what you need. Bring your phones to your Verizon store today and get My Plan. These deals won't last. It's your Verizon.